Hello, welcome to Directly to You, episode 175. I am AJ of fanatixfour. I'm joined by Parker of fanatixfour. Directly to You is the fanatixfour podcast, if you didn't know. We talk
True.
about video games and whatnot, and you can support that by going to youtube.com/fanatixfour, at twitch.tv/fanatixfour, and giving $4.99. It don't even got to be your own money if you're on twitch.tv and you have an Amazon Prime account, because you can link it to your Twitch account and you get a Prime gaming sub that you get for free on Jeff Bezos' dime. In exchange for that, you get loyalty badges, you get emotes, you get Switch keys from time to time, you get access to our supporters only Discord, where you can listen to this show when we record it live. And boy, are we recording it live right now. There's going to be discourse. I can tell you that. You can also join our Discord for the free by clicking the link in the description. You can say yo to people and what up. It's a good time.
It is. It's a grand old time.
You playing them?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, and honestly, I don't even remember. We missed last week. I had to cancel at some point in the middle of the day, and I truly don't remember. Oh, I do remember what it was. It was Ezra having health stuff, but it all turned out all right. But it was freaky for a minute. Yeah, playing games.
True.
Mostly, I mean, I haven't had a ton of time for games this week, but whatever time I have had has 100%. Well, has 97% been taken up by Metroid Dread. And yeah, I'm quite enjoying it, like very enjoying it. I'm, for context of where I am, non-spoiler description of where I'm at. I recently had a story heavy cutscene that I think is around midway through. If that it means anything to anybody. So if you've beaten the game, you probably know around where I'm at. And man, we can talk more about it when we talk about it, when you say your thoughts too. But so I'm playing that. We'll get back to it. Also just started, we got the code like last week at some point, but I have not had any time. So I just today started Disco Elysium, and I'm not very far into it. I like where it's going a lot, as far as it does remind me a lot of Divinity Original Sin, in that I can tell that the ways that you interact with people and with situations feels really varied and organic or whatever, where depending on depending on what they say, you can respond with different things. That's like, oh, that was risky. Like, I don't know if I should say that, because like they very well could get really mad, and then that would derail this and go in a different direction. So there's a lot of those kinds of things. So, I haven't looked up any spoiler stuff to know exactly how that pans out, but so far it's fun. The only thing that I'm not a huge fan of is the controls are kind of awkward, because it's a console port of a PC game of like, point and click kind of adventure. So maybe I'll get used to those pretty quick, but right now it feels a little cumbersome. But yeah, that's Disco Elysium so far. So I'll keep people updated on it. But yeah, I think that's it. So, but mostly Dread. We'll get back to that though. But yeah, what about you? What games you playing?
I'm playing Pokemon Unite a little teeny bit, like barely, not at all, because the grind is, I'm done. I'm over it. I've had enough. Because again, solo queue is my only option, and that is hell. So not really doing that right now. I tried Sylveon. Sylveon was broken for a little bit. Sylveon might still be broken, but again, I haven't been playing that much, so I don't know.
Did they patch it? Is that why it wouldn't be broken?
Yeah,
anymore?
they nerfed Sylveon, because Sylveon used to be super broken
Gotcha.
for a little bit. Damage output was ridiculous. Plus, it has an attack that like also is like shields. So like, Pokemon used to be dumb. Might still be dumb. Again, I don't know. But yeah, I haven't been playing that much. I still am playing Smash decently enough. We weren't. Did we do? Yeah, no, we didn't do a podcast post Nick All-Star Brawl.
No.
That game is fun, but I'm like, the better I get it at, the better I get at it, the more I realize how jank it can be. Like, it's like, and I don't even necessarily mean like, it's jank in the way that like items in Smash Brothers are jank, where it feels like an equalizer, but it's kind of not, like, because me knowing how to play the game and understanding what the game wants me to do and like the rules of the world, will be able to cheese anybody that does not understand it on the same level. But a lot of it is very like competitively minded, where it's like you have to understand how hitboxes work, and you have to know like, oh, they're going to tech and they're going to tech in this way, or they're not going to air dash, like that, that sort of stuff. So like I think people that are like good at Smash will have a lot of fun with it, but if you're playing with somebody that's even a little good, like to the point where they understand like, oh, I understand why wave dashing is good, you're not going to have fun unless you also do, and like it has a decent amount of depth, but I don't think it has enough depth to keep me there.
Right.
Because that has been like the whole reason why I've been having a lot of fun with it, because it does have depth. But the more I figure it out, the less I have to do with it.
Right.
I don't have the same motivation to be like, yo, Pokemon Trainer is a sick character and I just have a lot of fun playing with him, so I'm going to play the game because of that. Cora's like, okay, but I think Cora is like that's another part of it too. Like Cora's not great. Like Cora is okay. Like she's fine. Like you can win. But she's a heavy, so it's like there's no limit. And she's not like
interesting. Yeah.
Heavies kind of work different in this game though, to be fair.
Okay.
Like Reptar is he's kind of broken. Like Reptar, he has some stuff. But Cora is not like that. Like she's not a broken heavy. She's just like a heavy and can get by. Aang is fun too, but I'm not trying to break my hand playing the video game, so I'm not doing like optimal, because you gotta like to play Aang, you gotta like do like aerials and air dash to the stage every time, so it's like it's a lot. It's a lot. There's a lot of inputs going into playing Aang optimally, and I'm not trying to do that. I would play. Where do you think the game trying to do that?
Yeah. Actually, okay, two questions then. Where do you think this game stacks up? A, for, in that case, for melee players. B, for like kids, just people who just like it's just a party game, that kind of thing. How do you think it factors in for those two groups?
I think for melee players there's a lot more reason to want to play it because it's a more relevant game, and there's like like for just competitive players in general have reason to play it because the prize pools are crazy right now. Like,
oh really?
Nickelodeon has invested money.
Yeah, right.
But for kids, I think that unless you're like a freaking huge SpongeBob fan or whatever, right? Like that sort of thing, I can see a kid playing it. But at the same time, for most casuals and stuff like that, it's just too jank in the way that's obvious to everybody, like no voice acting, the sound effects are very cheap, like it's very like stock photo like in a lot of ways. The game is very cheaply made in a lot of different ways. So melee players, I could see them having fun with it for as long as Nickelodeon is investing in the game and they have a reason to play it. Because I don't think it's that hard. It's not unique enough to require them to have to dedicate time to only like practicing it, right? Like if they had to like drop melee to like play this game well consistently, that would be a different like that that would be debatable. But I think the game is very low maintenance. Like if anything, like I feel like playing that game made me better at Ultimate because it's such a fast game. So like going back to Ultimate feels like I'm in like bullet time. I'm like you're attacking me so slowly. It is so easy for me to punish that because like this All-Star is even faster than Melee is. That's the crazy part. Like significantly faster than Melee.
Watching the knockback of like Ultimate's knockback is just so unique. I feel like where going back honestly to any Smash game or also looking at All Stars or whatever, and then coming back to Ultimate, like Ultimate's feels so much better. Even though I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, "What's going on here?"
So fast.
Yeah, exactly. And it was because it has the whole like fast, but then like trails off pretty quick like balloons, or whatever.
And it's like
whereas All Stars is like
better.
Yes, right.
Yeah, because like Melee and every other Smash game. And probably every other platform fighter, to be fair, they plateau.
Just a consistent speed or whatever.
Like they're like slow for like in the beginning, and like slower, I should say.
Mhm.
And then you get to a certain percent, and it's like the same speed if you could barely DI something, if you could DI something, or if you're just dead, you know.
Mhm.
But in Smash, it's like, oh no, I'm moving too fast. I am definitely like Ultimate, I should say.
Yeah.
It's like I'm moving too fast. I'm definitely dead here. There's no way I live this, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like it's easier to see if you live or die because there's way more of a threshold there.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
the difference between I'm definitely not dead and I'm probably dead is huge.
Yeah. No, that's fun. Yeah. And then, I mean, we didn't talk about Sora last week, obviously, because we didn't record last week, but we'll talk about Sora next week. And that would be interesting and stuff.
Cursory thoughts. I mean, we reacted to it. So like people.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So like he's cool. I like that he's the last character. I think and I talked about this a few times when I said that he was going to be in the video game. He's like one of the few characters that they could have announced that got the biggest pull of people excited for it. Like even if like Kingdom Hearts is not this huge franchise, but it was another reveal that felt impossible, you know. Like a lot of people that are pretentious would tell you like that's highly unlikely, and it's like
because Disney and blah blah blah. Yeah,
exactly. But you know,
no, you're totally right. I mean, like I was vying for a Nintendo character to close it out, just to round out the like, it's Nintendo, you know, that whole thing.
People would have been pissed. I think the closest that they could have gotten to it being okay with people, like they would have been like, not what I wanted, but I'm fine with it. As if it was a Zelda character or a cool Pokemon.
Yeah.
Because those are the biggest franchises they have right now.
Or honestly, the same people that were happy about Sora, maybe not the same people, but the same feeling of being happy about Sora, controversial as it is, Waluigi, I feel like would have made some people super mad and then some other people vindicated, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but like
I think that would be on the opposite end of the spectrum, because it will make such a like there's a relatively small portion of the audience that is like vehemently pissed, where it's like, about, you know, Sora. Like because it's an anime sword dude,
right? Yeah.
And they're like mad because of that, where it's like their argument is like that it's like the same thing as like being mad about Fire Emblem characters, but people that are mad about Fire Emblem characters are mad about Fire Emblem characters for a very specific thing. It's not like just because they're an anime person with a sword in their hand. It's because
it's like if Link weren't in the game and then they added Link.
And not even that. It's like most of them have the same exact game plan. Most of them have the same exact move set. Like Roy has the same move set as Marth, who has the same move set as Lucia. You know, like there's like small differences if you're like enthusiasts of each individual character in Smash specifically, but there's so much overlap that it's boring. And then even the characters that do have like distinct visual differences still have the same general game plan. Like Corrin has a counter, Ike has a counter, Chrom has a counter, Marth has a counter, Roy has a counter. You know, like so many of the characters share so many moves that it's like, okay, but Sora is pretty different from all of them, you know. Like even the thing that he does have in common with having a counter is counter it works nothing like theirs,
right? You know?
So like that argument is like that's kind of tired. Like he's significantly different than any other character in the video.
Yeah, you're definitely right that like this is the announcement that the most people would be the most excited about and the fewest people would be the most mad about, kind of a thing. Like there is a group of people that's mad about it, obviously, because you were saying, but like A, small group, B, like you can pretty easily, I feel like, be like, yeah, but come on, it's like, because even the character that's been wanted for the longest. And it's like, yeah, I guess.
Even the people that don't want that know that a lot of people want it, you know, because like me, I was like, it'd be cool. I'm not a Kingdom Hearts fan. I think Kingdom Hearts is fine, you know, but it's not who I wanted. I wanted another Pokemon trainer, but I'm cool with Sora. That's good. That's a good closer.
Yeah. So there you go. There's that. So yeah, then Dread. Are you playing anything else besides Dread? So we can.
No.
Cool. All right. What do you think so far? How far are you? Trev asked how many Emmys.
I'm on the green Emmy, so I'm not like super far. I don't think I'm like in the second area, like the C place. Because I started the first file that I did on stream, and then I did another file that I'm doing off stream because I don't know if I'm gonna stream it unless people want me to stream it, because I don't know if I want to stream it.
It's not. I wouldn't think it's a great like speed run stream kind of game. It's not anything exploration. More often than not, is like
it's not a good
backseat gaming.
Exactly. Which I'm fine with. I'm fine with people being like, yo, this is how you do that. What I'm not fine with is how people usually go about this is how you do that, you know?
Where it's like, you didn't see the spot you were supposed to bomb over there that you didn't know you were supposed to bomb. How did you not notice that? Like,
exactly. Well, and not even like taking into account, it's like, man, I figured that out when I like stared vegged out on my couch at my screen for 3 hours, you know, like I have an LED light blasting in my face. I'm looking at chat, you know, like so like that's like a big part of it. That's like,
that is a thing.
I don't really like that experience. But
yeah,
I might do it if people want to hit the sub goal.
Indeed.
There it is.
There it is. But yeah, so you're at the Green Emmy. Yeah, that's, I vaguely remember where that is. But yeah, nice.
It's the C place.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm there. The first time I played it, I could see it being cool. I was like, I get it, you know. But the stuff that I didn't like about it was the Metroidvania stuff. And to be fair, I'm starting to like it more, but I didn't really run into the Metroidvania stuff because I already knew what to do. So I wasn't like looking for what to do until I found what to do. And it's like, oh, that's where you go. Like I'm seeing a lot of people talk about like how little backtracking you need to do, but like inherently you kind of need to backtrack to figure out where to go in games like these. So like if you know where to go, you don't really have to backtrack, but to figure out where to go, you got to backtrack. Like
I think, right. Yeah. So the thing I figured out, I've shot myself in the foot a couple of times. In the game, of course. No, I've shot myself in the foot a couple of times by trying to like go out of my way backtracking, where like it brings me to a new area and I'm like, oh, I can't go anywhere in here. And that's the whole thing that, you know, people were talking about too, of like, yeah, there will be some blocks you have to blow up that you don't notice or something like that. To where generally it seems like when it brings you to a new area, there's a path forward through there, and like kind of that the whole game has one linear path ish that it can bring you through,
and it loops back
keep
around
pushing forward, and it loops back around on itself and that kind of thing. But there were a couple of times where I was like, I don't see where I'm supposed to go. Maybe I missed something, and then I go completely into middle of nowhere, or I just try to go back and like use the power-ups I've got to, you know, go back to the old places to get items or something like that. And then, so those are the times I've had to look up a guide probably twice, like 2 key moments. And it was the same thing both times. It was like, oh no, I was in the right spot. And then I left the right spot. But it was the whole thing of like, using, you know, blowing up blocks that you didn't know were supposed to be blown up and stuff. So, which is again,
and that's solving a puzzle, finding a puzzle piece that you didn't know you had. That's a puzzle, dude. Perfect puzzle.
So that's, I'm kind of learning that that's just its language. I'm just kind of have to, I don't feel like inherently that is specific. Like, I think the rest of the game honestly has like almost perfect game design in terms of a lot of things. But that one thing is like, that's not great game design, but it is just kind of what it is. So I'm just going to get over it for that thing. It's not that big of a thing, you know? And basically I think I've just determined, like, if I feel like I'm lost, I'm just going to look it up real quick. I don't care. Like, I'd rather have fun doing the thing, because like 99% of it, I'm just doing the thing.
Dude? What about your gamer
I do have so much of that, but I will say
you do factually. I mean, you have a decent amount of gamer cred.
There's 2 battles that I recently had that are like mini boss kinds of things that I think you would specifically enjoy as well. I had a really good time with them, that feel more like Smash.
I mean, like the fighter gamey stuff about this game I like a lot, where it's like that's why did you see the poll that I did for if Metroid Dread is scary? So. I did a poll if the game is scary, because like I see a lot of people being like, this game is terrifying, and I'm like, is it? Like, because my reaction when I see a freaking Emmy trying to kill me or whatever, I'm like, yo, I'm going to freaking murder you, dude. I'm gonna parry you and you're gonna die, you know. But like apparently people are like freaking out. I'm like, yo, no. In the fight versus flight, I am fighting. Like there's no flight in me at all. I'm not trying to run away from nothing in this game. I want to fight you. So it's like I did not understand. But like it was like hold on, wait, what was that? I need to go back to the results or whatever. But I think it being scary won. It was like
interesting.
1/3 of the people that took the poll said that it doesn't scare them, but the majority of people said that it's scary. And I'm like, how?
So Rise Gang just said I'm the same, but I just run away because I can't time the push away thing. Yeah, I'm not great at doing that. A couple of times that I've done it though, like it feels really good to get it right. But I will say that like I really enjoy the ME sections because like I don't know, it's especially fun when you do like trick it, like get around a corner and then like do the invisible thing or whatever, and then like all that stuff. It just pans out really well. I don't know, it just has a lot of opportunity for like doing things various different ways, and that's something that I'm finding really fun.
So
and
what
like
I found out, which is I mean good for their intent, because it's clear that they want the game to not necessarily be scary but suspenseful.
Be tense.
What I found out is the timing's not always the same. And there's not really a consistent cue, so it's like almost luck, like there's definitely things that you can,
because you have to do it before
the cue, before it like blinks at you. But I think the audio cue is when you're supposed to react, so like it makes a noise when you're supposed to react, but I don't think it makes the
I typically have the volume down pretty low. So just because the context that I'm playing in is like in bed or something like that, so
also
I never noticed that.
So the thing for me that's messing me up with being able to consistently parry is like Breath of the Wild, I'm good at parrying the laser because of the visual cue, but Smash, a game where the parrying isn't, I mean, by nature of how Smash works and like the fact that you're fighting a person and not a programmed AI,
right? You're not supposed to know exactly
it's
what it
also
is.
it's not consistent, but I can time which is how I usually do it. You time your parry with the controller's rumble, so I can feel like, oh, they hit my shield, I need to drop my shield now. But that doesn't happen in this game, so I can't get the parry yet, but I'm gonna figure it out, dude. I'm gonna be a parry god. You watch. But yeah, the poll was 63.9% of the people that voted said yes, that the game does scare them, even if it's just a jump scare thing.
Interesting.
And 36.1% said no.
I wonder if also the fact that I'm playing like 90% handheld with the audio not very loud, if on at all, definitely skews it towards not even jump scares. Like I can't think of that many times, if any, that I've had jump scares.
I time visually in Smash usually. Like I see the things about to hit me and parry. Got to start timing on the rumble, because I know for a fact you don't get parries as consistently as I do. I'm telling you, that's the broken tech. You got to time on the feeling.
But yeah, so I do talk about, so our videos haven't gone up yet. And in that I talk about Dread because it's my videos about Metroid. But one of the things that I think I really like about it too is like we saw this even in the trailers, but there's so many cutscenes that are like zoomed in on Samus and make it feel like Samus is, you know, a big old human-sized person or more.
Action game.
Exactly. And then it zooms seamlessly out into other things to where it feels like everything's like big things are big and you know, little things are still, you know, like it's little to us, like a foot tall or something, but it doesn't feel like these microscopic little people running around or anything.
Yeah, it's not Link's Awakening.
Right. So I think that's been fun. Like it just makes the game feel epic, you know, most of the time. Yeah, I don't know. Long story short, you know, it's fun. And like the more move set stuff I get, it's just fun to chain it together. Like I said, those two fights, I've got a couple of like move set things at this point. And there's probably more of those fights. I don't know, but they're good. It's a fun time. I'm enjoying Dread a lot. Do you think this game's going to make you, like, if you know, assuming you finish the game,
more Metroidvanias? No.
Yep.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because the thing I like the least about it is the Metroidvania aspects of
Yeah.
it. It feels like how I felt about Unite, where it's like I like this because it's Pokemon, and it's not that, like, it's not like I like it because it's
Right.
Metroid, because like whatever, but I
Yeah.
like the things about this game that they did to kind of make it not necessarily not a Metroidvania, but move further forward.
Yeah.
You know, like take Metroidvania somewhere else that's not just like we're doing the same thing again, you know.
Yeah, the focus, like exploration is a thing in it, but it's not like the only thing. It's like, yeah, the playing it and the having fun doing the actions and stuff like that is a good time. What was I going to say too? The for me also, something that would make me want to go back to the other games a little bit less is I very much enjoy the free aiming. Like, and that's the thing that I'm terrible at like shooters or like run gun type shooters is like Mega Man or early Metroids and stuff, like having to jump and time your shooting with the thing that's like flying down and coming across, you know, that whole thing. So bad at that. And I'm sure I could get better at it, but I don't always know that I want to. So that's that's
that was the other
that,
thing on stream that like wasn't super clear to me, how aiming works. Like I thought that it was just you control moving up and down, not that you're like a reverse slingshot. Like you like drag it and then move the reticle that way. I was just moving up and down, and it's not as precise that way.
Okay, so do you know you can hold in the left trigger to like completely free aim?
Yeah, that's what. That's what I mean. Like even in those moments, I was still trying to move it up and down, and it like swings up and down when you do it that it that way. But
so I think it's kind of like you
to
hold
the
it
right or left, and then you move up and down, then it's more precise. But if you have your like the stick in the center and you're just moving up or down, it's not nearly as precise. It just goes all the way up or all the way down.
Well, I think when I'm doing it, I'll typically switches in there, but like I just hold in the direction that I'm trying to shoot, kind of like a bullet hell kind of, or like that sort of thing. Because I've just been playing Enter the Gungeon, so it's a similar
that's
kind
what
of
you're
feeling
supposed
to
do. You're supposed to hold in the direction that you're trying to shoot.
Yeah, exactly.
But I didn't know that
until
I figured it out, and I was like, oh, okay, so that's why the aiming sucks.
It took me a minute to even figure out, like, because the only reason I mentioned the whole like holding in the trigger and stuff, because I didn't realize it for the first 20 minutes or so, and I was like, this kind of, it is free aiming kind of, but you also then move in that direction, and that kind of sucks. Like that was frustrating.
I figured that out when fighting the first enemy, that you got to break their face. And I was like, I literally can't aim at its face. It's always shooting under its face or way above its face. And then I was like, oh, I gotta move it forward. So there's that.
So yeah, Dread, man, I'm enjoying it. I'll probably have beaten it by this time next week. Okay, just because it's topics in the news, that kind of thing.
The thing is, I probably won't, because Sora. But I'll try.
That's true.
I'll try beating it this weekend. It's not here. It's not that long, but the thing is, like, just because it's not that long doesn't mean I'm going to sit there and play for that long at once.
Right.
You know?
Also, and on this
video.
Right. And that's, that's been a topic this week too, is the length of Dread and blah, blah, blah. And people, man. Yeah. Like you said, discourse this week.
Yeah. Discourse, man.
Interesting. I can't remember who else pointed out, but like other people have pointed out the times that people are putting. Yeah. It doesn't count. There's bosses that I've died to like 6 or 7 times or something, and it doesn't count any of that. Any times that I've gone in and an Emmy kills you, which is a lot of times, especially later on, when the Emmys get faster and the areas get more complicated and stuff, like plenty of times that an Emmy catches me, and none of that's reflected in the timer. So it'll be funny, because like I'm sure when 10 days have passed, so like in a couple of days, we can go in and check what our times on the game is. So there will be some people where it says, your completion time was 8 hours and 10 minutes. And then you go in and it's like played more than 15 hours or something like that. Maybe it's not that much of a difference, but at least like
it really depends on like how you actually cleared it. Because it could be like some people like me, right? Where the first time I did something, it took me way longer than the game's going to say that it took me to do it. Because after I learned how to do it, I just did it, but better,
Right.
But there's going to be other people that's like, like I died here and I'm going to play more cautious because of that. And then they'll get through it because they were playing more cautious.
Yeah. Right.
So like that's going to really change your timer too. Like Krista from Nintendo,
Mhm.
she her like complete time was like 19 hours or something like that.
Mhm.
And I'm sure that it's because when she got through something, she took her time and like
Yep.
did it slower and more
Mhm.
methodical. Whereas somebody
Also
like
depends,
me is like,
like,
oh, I get it, your hitbox is like that.
yeah.
So I'm gonna, like that
Yeah.
something.
And also totally, like, depending on how you want to do backtracking, like I'm sure my time's going to be longer than other people's has been,
your time's going to be way longer
because
than mine.
yeah, because like I've gone back to the same areas a couple of times to be like, oh, I have that thing that I can go back and do this thing, like get these items with. Where like really the most efficient way to 100% it probably is beat the whole game and then go back and use all of, like in this area, there's 3 different items that could be, or 3 different abilities, whatever, that could be used to get different items. So then if you have all of those all at once, then you can get all those items real quick and be done, as opposed to what I'm doing, which is like, I'll just come back to it when I've got one of them and then leave, and then come back when I've got the next one and then leave, and that kind of thing. So I'm sure my timer is going to be a little longer than other people's, but I don't know, we'll see. In any case, like, yeah, the discourse this week around like Metroid's a bad game because blah, blah, blah.
Dude, it's short and it's 2D. Bad game.
Yep.
Game sucks, to be honest.
Yeah. What a time.
Yo, look at the user score, man. Look at the user score. The user score swung down, like was like in the 9s, and then it was like 8.5 or something like that, and now it's at like 9 again. Like,
yeah, man, user scores. I saw your tweet about that. That was, yeah, how accurate they are. True Fernie said, that's how I'm doing it now. I finished Dread the other day. And Trev said 2D and no Pokemon, 0 out of 10.
That's a fact. There's not a single Charizard in this game. Game sucks.
Yep.
To be honest.
What can you do? So yeah, that's the games we're playing. Before we get into the main topics or whatever, you got the OLED, right?
I did indeed get the OLED.
Any thoughts for the people that are different than all the other thoughts going around? Or
here's my OLED. It's right here. Look at it.
Look at that.
Look at it.
Did you like transfer everything over? Is that what you're playing on now exclusively?
Yes. My OLED, everybody that's listening that didn't already hear this, it's going to be in Dreamcast Guy's review. It made an appearance. So go in his comments and tell him to pay, not me, my Switch OLED royalties for being in the video. Make sure you let him know.
Is that like how a dog gets royalties or whatever, yes. Like dog actors?
Yep. There it is. But yeah, I like it. It's cool. I don't know. I mean, I usually, depending on what games I'm playing, decides how much I play in handheld. Like, Metroid Dread, I'm playing in handheld a lot because, like, why not? Like the game clearly is like, yo, I'm launching with OLED, so there's like a lot of blacks in this game. It's so dark in this game. Game's super dark
and scary. It's just tremendously scary.
It's very scary. So I've been playing it on that, and it feels great.
Nice.
But other than that, plus, I mean, it doesn't really make a difference to me because I'm wired anyway. But the LAN port does seem to be faster than the regular Nintendo one. Like noticeably. It's not like a huge boost, but it's a noticeable boost. Like it was, that's cool. How I tested it when I first got it, when I was setting it up, I did 3 tests for my wired connection on the Nintendo licensed LAN adapter on my old Switch, and it was 40 megabytes per second down every time. And then I did the same thing with the same adapter. I mean, with the same like old dock with the old adapter with the OLED, and then it was the same thing. And then I did it with the new dock, and it was 10 megabytes per second down faster than the other thing. The up speed is the same. I don't know what's up with that, but the down speed is faster. So if you want to download your games faster, dock. New dock.
Nice.
And also, the Wi-Fi is hard capped. Like the Wi-Fi is like super capped on the Switch across the board. I don't know why.
Interesting. Yeah. Man, what a time. Well, cool. OLED. There you go. Everybody, go get one. If you don't, you're not a Nintendo fan. So, just kidding. I haven't gotten one myself.
That's a fact.
All
just
right.
buy the dock, dude. Just buy the dock.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Those are for sale by themselves, right?
I don't know if they're on sale yet, but they will be.
Cool. I probably won't because I've got 3 docks in my house already. 2 because we each have a Switch, and then another one because there was it was when Mitch, Nate, and I, who got together to play Dread last week, at some point, we worked in the same office and just got a dock for the office and split it. And then we haven't been in our office for 2 years now. So at some point I was like, I'm gonna take that and use it, and I have. So that's where we're at.
Not just all right. Just trade it in. Just trade it to GameStop, get some credit, and buy another one.
I mean, honestly, it's the one that's here in my office that like I don't use it very often because I don't get to stream really ever, but would like to. Oh, speaking of which, before we get to other things, I finally last night got to sit down and organize my Pokemon cards some, and I'm very happy to do it. So here's a very classic looking binder for everybody. So, you know, Pokemon cards and stuff.
Pokemon cards.
So I'm excited about that. But now the nice thing is like I used to not really be able to tell very easily because the way I had them organized was in Pokemon like Dex number. And so in that case, like, oh yeah, because I wasn't showing it.
Too low. I was talking about my Switch.
Oh, gotcha. I thought you meant the Pokemon cards.
Yo, my Switch matches my Pro Controller too, because I have the
look at that
Smash Brothers Pro Controller. So it's tight.
What a time.
Tight.
Tight. But yeah, so before I couldn't quite tell what all I was missing very well because like, you know, maybe I have like what's a good example? What's that there? So like Chansey, for example, I was like, yeah, I've got a holographic Chansey, but it's a 2nd edition holographic Chansey, but it was in the spot of
garbage.
it was like in the spot of a regular of Chansey because it was just in number order. So whereas now I've like organized them by expansions, so I'm able to see a lot better like what I actually am missing and what I actually have. And like I'm not missing that much from basically I'm still focused on just the first 3 primarily, and then less and less as it goes forward. So like I'd, you know, it'd be fun to have more Team Rocket ones and stuff, but I'm not too worried about finishing those or anything like that. So, but all that to say, my plan is get all those organized and finish that up so that I can then go through all the stuff Mitch gave me finally. And it's more exciting to be like, whoa, that's a Chansey, and not think like, but I've already got a Chansey because now I know I don't have a regular Chansey. I've just got a 2nd edition Chansey. So like, it's more exciting because then I know what I'm actually missing. There you have it. What a time.
The Pokemon card hour, dude. It's hype.
It's hype. All right, that's what we're playing. Let's get into today's stuff. Today, Animal Crossing had a direct, and we watched
Discourse.
Honestly, not that much discourse about this. I mean, discourse for sure, but it was.
I mean, some Animal Crossing discourse.
Really?
Bad a little bit. Yeah, it's attached a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's
because of the DLC specifically.
Yes, yeah. Right. So you know, we'll get for the record for anybody who's wondering. The next topic is Nintendo Switch Online expansion price. That whole thing. We're going to talk about that afterwards. But first, let's talk about you know, the key.
We start happy and we get down into the depths as you go further.
It's true.
It's gonna get real gamer in here, dude.
Yeah. So so we Ezra was still asleep right before this, and we were like, oh, we should wake Ezra up to watch the direct with us. So we did, and it was cute and fun. But Ashley was really excited to watch this as well, and with good cause, because like, yeah, I mean, initially, just like before going through any of this stuff, are you sold? Like, are you going to jump back in? Do you think?
I'm definitely going to like jump in and check this stuff out. At the very least, like on stream. I'm sure Bob will like stream coffee, so I'm probably going to do that too. You know, like who knows? This might turn into Minecraft because literally it's coffee shop right there, dude.
Yep,
might turn into Minecraft for like at least a week. You know.
Yeah,
but yeah, so I'm gonna check it out.
Cool. I mean, me too. Honestly, there's obviously, you know, Ashley's going to be playing it a bunch, and so I'll dip into it for that. But also just because I think it's fun. The only reason I wouldn't is if I'm playing other stuff and I don't want to feel like I wasted my money on other stuff. So, but this is going to be a good, like, because I like the activity of playing Animal Crossing, but it was like, if I earned money, I had nothing that I wanted to do with that money.
Yeah. And now you
So
do.
what's the point? And now we do. That was like the thing that I wanted out of this, was just something to like reset the gameplay loop a little bit or add more into it that didn't feel like just superfluous stuff, but felt like it factored in well. And I mean, this, does a fantastic job, spoilers, of doing that.
It's true.
Yep. So first thing, Brewster has the cafe. Honestly, it was funny to me, and that people were that people have wanted this so much. B, that they're so excited about it, only because like I get it that it's like, oh, that's so cute and that's so fun, because it is. But realistically, gameplay wise, boring.
What are you talking about? You can get freaking buds, dude, off of coffee. It's gonna be hype.
Yeah.
My villager not gonna drink coffee because I don't drink coffee. But
maybe
I'll
you can get
my
like
friends.
Maybe they'll give you hot chocolate or something. I don't know. Maybe there's options.
Or tea. They better let me get tea or hot chocolate. I'm gonna be upset. I'm gonna boycott Bruce. I'm gonna freaking go outside of Brewster's Roost and I'm gonna strike.
Mm-hmm.
And I can make signs too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm make a sign and I'm gonna boycott.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so Brewster, it's super cute though, and it's fun, and it's like, again, gameplay wise, not particularly exciting, but just like vibe wise, all the way. It's got. Ashley was very happy about just how fun it looked, and she doesn't have any nostalgia for Brewster's being around in the old stuff. It's just fun that it's there.
It's true.
And then the boat tour with Captain. We kind of guessed at this as well. There's a bunch of things
we did, but it's the sad version. There's no gameplay, dude. Right. I wanted Captain because I wanted to be able to play mini games with my friends.
Yeah,
there's no mini games here. It's just
no mini games.
More islands that are better than the islands that we could go to before. But like, give me mini games.
Yep. It's true. I mean, still fun that those exist, but it is the kind of thing where, like, especially now that we've been around all year, the idea of going somewhere and being like, oh, it's winter here, isn't as exciting, you know what I mean, as if it had been when we first started playing the game and we're like, wow, we get to see winter for an island. That's a fun little tease, that kind of a thing. But still, it's like, I like the vines that they showed on there, whatever. We'll see what all stuff is on there, but we'll find out.
We shall find out.
We shall. The gyroids are the silliest things, but I thought they were cool. They just seem fun. I don't know anything about gyroids.
All I know is they can kill you in Super Smash Brothers Ultimate if you're bad.
True. It's true.
But all you gotta do for Isabel's is, if your Ivysaur, just down tilt it. Yep. If your Squirtle, just down tilt it.
Mm-hmm.
If your Charizard, flamethrower. That's how you break it. Every time I'm fighting Sarah of Sierra Plus Ultra on Twitch, I don't have to break them, but it's fun, so I break them. But
gyros. It's true. Gyros.
They make sounds and stuff.
They do. I was telling Ashley that she should learn how to make them in real life and then start an Etsy shop and then sell them on Etsy, because like probably somebody already does, I'd guess. But this is definitely the kind of thing, like, Nintendo's never going to make physical gyroids, but they're such easy, recognizable things. Easy, not in like production wise, but easy of just like, if you see a gyroid and you know what it is, it's like very obviously
and
that. Yeah. So like, and they're like pretty diverse and different. I don't know. It just seems like a fun thing for like somebody to make them and profit off of that. Is that the kind of thing Nintendo could cease and desist on?
Absolutely. Would they? Who knows?
Probably not. Yeah. So there's those. All right. I'm pretty excited about this next one. The open market on Harv's Island.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. It's pretty dope.
It's, for me, I think this does the whole thing of like having something to spend your money on and like goals to achieve. That's like fun stuff, yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
I'm down. I don't know if I care that much about the individual shops. Like I'm not like,
Right.
yo, I've been waiting for freaking kicks or whatever, dude. Like whatever, you know?
Yeah.
But like you said, it's a good way to spend your bells where it's like, all right, I have campaigns to contribute to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
spend all
exactly.
my monies. But also, I mean, we'll get to that. Never mind. We'll get to it.
I'm curious. Yeah, I just think it's fun. Exactly for those reasons. And I mean, hopefully they'll each have, I mean, the what's her face has new hairstyles. So like hopefully these people each also have a lot more, like they didn't really talk about how much more furniture or like content of things there are, other than saying like there might be some new things in your store, but they
it
didn't
doesn't
really say,
seem like something that they would do in Animal Crossing though. Like most of Animal Crossing is like the mystery, you know, like they don't want to quantify it in that way where it's like, all right, here's your checklist, get all the things.
Yeah, so that's something that I hope that we find out, that there's a pretty large upgrade of, you know, furniture sets and just things to buy and all that, because I know that was something people were disappointed in too, and especially comparing it to, like, people compared it to Pocket Camp, and then in Pocket Camp there's way more stuff, and then here there's not way more stuff. So it seems like from this, like I get the vibe that it would be there, it just wasn't outright said, so who's to say, you know? But that'd be cool. And yeah, it's just fun, and it's a fun atmosphere too of just a little island. I don't know, all that stuff. Cooking, I agree. It's cool. I remember at some point when I was playing the game being like, man, it'd be fun if you could cook stuff, just because you've got a kitchen, and like there's a lot of things where like you can't really interact with things the way that I feel like you should be able to sometimes.
Like there's like stuff like bowls of fruit or whatever, right? And it's like it's fake fruit, you know, it's like fake fruit in real life. Like you can't actually eat that. And you can like, it almost looked like that was going to be the case the way that they were showing the food, where it's like you can craft food and have it as a decoration on your channel, I mean on your table. And then I was like, that's stupid. And then they ate it and I was like, sick. It's like it probably won't do anything, but dope. Like just the visual.
It gave them the like 5 like if you ate 5 fruits, when you eat
fruit. Okay,
exactly.
Yeah. That's
so like cool. You know, then you can poop it out too. That's a whole chain of events. You grow fruits. I mean, and that's another cool thing, is the whole like farming sim part of it. Like I told Ashley, I was like, you need to play Stardew Valley, and I was like, but you really don't need to now.
Somebody banned Trev. Trev said cooking IRL, bussin'. Cooking in a video game, bottom tier activity. Ban him. Ban him right now.
What I'm curious about with that is also like, are we going to need to get recipes to be able to cook stuff, or can you just like throw things together and find out if it makes something, you know, like the Breath of the Wild kind of thing of like just chucking stuff in a pot and it turns into something? That would be cool. Because my biggest complaint with some stuff in the past has been how hard it is to get DIY recipes. And like
it's like Zelda, where it's like you didn't talk to the random guy to tell you how to do the thing you already know how to do. Like it would be so annoying if like you can make, like say you can make peanut butter and jelly, and it's like, all right, I have peanut butter and I have jelly, and I know that peanut butter and jelly exists, I'm going to make peanut butter and jelly, and then you try to make peanut butter and jelly and the game tells you no, because nobody told you how to make peanut butter and jelly. But then once they tell you how to make peanut butter and jelly, you can make peanut butter and jelly. It's going to make me so angry. I'm going to be so mad.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like I wish it would be great if they could just let, like, I don't know, if you know a recipe, then you can just teach it to me, like teach one recipe to a friend every day or something like that. Like it incentivizes multiplayer. Like you come over my island and you'd be like, here's a recipe.
I've never been to your island before, dude.
That's true.
Never a single time.
Maybe now's the opportunity.
As if we didn't have opportunities before, but all right.
Yeah, never been. It was impossible until now.
It was impossible.
And then the last thing before the DLC bit is further support for your animal life. The group stretching, which you could do yoga, like
you can stretch.
Random.
That's cool. I mean, that's gameplay with my friends, kind of.
That's true. Establish ordinances,
which is sick. I want to make my island rich, dude.
Interesting. Like
doing
reducing the rate at which weeds grow or making the residents get, well, I know the residents get, like, I don't know
yeah,
what
you
all
can
the
make them get
ordinances
up
are.
early. You can
Yep.
do like you can like have the inflation ordinance. Like
What
there's
is
just
that?
like
Like,
you can make like your make more money, you know?
mm,
Make everything be worth more money.
interesting. Well, I mean, well, do what
Mhm.
you gotta do. I, if you do the like night owl ordinance, does that also change how late the stores stay open?
I think so.
Cool. Ashley was wondering that, and I was like, I don't know, but that's cool if so.
Pretty
Nice.
cool. I'm down, dude. I'm down.
Yeah, good stuff.
That's one of the things that I wanted. And whenever I talked about this game being like,
Mhm.
yo, ordinances, where are they at? But here they are.
Here they are. All right, so that's everything. I mean, there might have been other things. That's everything Nintendo put on their website about this. Honestly, by the end of that, I was like, all right, cool. That was a pretty good update. Yeah, that's a bunch of stuff. And like, you know, there would have been more things I would have liked to see. But even without the paid DLC, I was like,
Well,
good stuff.
there's other stuff.
There, yeah.
Like with Nook or whatever, like you can upgrade your house more.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I was going to say, where I was like, I'll get back to that.
New
But
fences.
now I
and
gotta
stuff.
freaking pay Nook his money. I didn't want to pay him for that last loan, but now I have to.
Now you got to. Yep.
Sucks.
The question is, because you know you can cheese the whole thing with the turnip market and stuff like that, but it really kind of does
I
ruin the
had the
experience.
money. I had it. I wasn't going to pay him for it though. Why am I paying you? Like, what do I need to pay you for? You already gave me the thing that you're telling me to pay you for, and I'm going to pay you now for what?
Yeah.
But now I have to, because if I want
to.
future updates, I have to do it.
Oh yeah, and like storage capacity is increased, and
Somebody there's an explanation for the ordinances. Beautiful Island ordinance is for casual players and those who may only play once in a blue moon. There are no cockroaches. There are less weeds. This ordinance makes your island easier to return to when you play less.
Okay.
It is also ideal for two other types of players. Flower breeders will be excited to know that this ordinance raises hybrid rates, while time travelers will be happy to know that time traveling will not affect their island. Their early bird ordinance makes your islands start sooner. Your island's day starts sooner. Your villagers will get up sooner, and and the shops on your island will open earlier. This also means things will close earlier in the day. This is perfect for players who are early risers. The night owl ordinance is the opposite of the early bird ordinance. It will make your island's day start later in the day. Your villagers will stay up later, and the shops on your island will stay open later. This also means things will open later in the day. This is perfect for players who are night owls themselves or want to play Animal Crossing for a while after a long day at work or school. Bell Boom, the final ordinance. This ordinance is made to boost your island's economy. Things will cost more to buy, but you will also earn more when you sell. If you are the type to gather a lot of natural resources like fruit and sell them, this ordinance could be for you. This ordinance can be great in bursts, but you will have to sell a lot for the ordinance to be permanently worth it.
Interesting. Okay, cool.
Yo, be big rich. Make all the monies.
Yep. I do miss it. Like the turnip way of making a lot of money felt, I don't know, it was less fun. I do miss
because it breaks the economy, dude.
It breaks the economy. But the tarantula way of making money, Tarantula Islands, that was a good time. And I think they definitely patched it out, making it really easy to happen. I think you technically can, but it's just like takes way longer and it's way more work and stuff. So like probably not worth anymore. But that was a fun time because it felt like you had to work for it. And that's something. It worked for it more than just, leave a website open for a while and wait for somebody to be like, I've got 600, my bills, whatever.
Yeah.
That whole thing. So yeah, but you're right. There were other things that they didn't mention in here, just like little quality of life things. And I'm sure like of this stuff, is there anything that you feel like was a huge oversight? Mini games, obviously, being one of those.
The ordinances. Get just freaking ordinances, dude. It's the best thing they ever did to Animal Crossing ever.
There it is.
They didn't put it in the game, but now it's in the game.
Now it's in the game. Cool. And then then the big thing, Happy Home Paradise.
It's true.
Ashley was truly very excited about this. Like, because her favorite part of the game probably is like designing her house and that kind of thing. But it is tough because it's like, all right, you're gonna, design your house, and then at some point it's just designed and you can tweak it, but it's starting from scratch is a pain. And if you want to start from scratch, you kind of can't, so that's the thing. So being able to do that to other people's houses instead kind of scratches that same itch without having to worry about it too much.
Yep.
So that was neat. But yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah.
So
I was going to talk about my thoughts, but they're out of order. So I'd rather just go.
I mean, we can just go. You know what? Who cares?
Let's just go in order. Just
All right.
it's the best. It's a cleaner way to do it because I'm not going to touch on everything.
Yeah, you're right. So you're part of the team. It's hard to do this in order because it's all kind of the same thing, but just different pieces of it. So basically, you go to the place and people ask you to make homes for them. It feels kind of like at the way beginning when you invited your first 3 villagers and you had to like set up their place, which is fun. Like that was that's a fun thing. And now it's just more of that.
Yeah. And it's like more involved because like when you when you invite other villagers too, it's like they're like, hey, give them these 3 items or whatever and place them outside of their homes or whatever. But in this, like you decide everything. Like you decide how big their house is, you decide what the interior is, you decide the exterior, you decide who their roommate is.
Yeah, that was honestly, that's really cute that they can have roommates. I do wonder what their what the game's impression or the character's impressions of what you do are,
I hate this roommate. I hate
exactly. Yeah. Or if they ask you to put these 3 teddy bears and then you put those in, but then everything else is designed completely different.
It's like a freaking death metal like interior other than that. And then
it's got stuff that's like trying to murder the teddy bears, in the middle. They're like in captivity or whatever.
Also, I wonder if you get paid more if you give them, if you like rent out to roommates. Like I wonder if Milk is like, yo. But one thing I don't like, but I don't know, maybe that's not true. I don't like that it's another currency. Like, just give me bells.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Freaking stupid.
I guess. I mean, I guess it's that because it's more about spending the new currency. Yeah. Because otherwise, you could just come in with $1 million bells, not do any of that stuff, and just buy it in the store. So, like, I get it, but yeah, I get what you mean. Or maybe you can trade them in for a certain amount of bells. Yes, otherwise,
that's what I hope. I hope that you can
kind of like Nook Miles. Like you can trade in Nook Miles for bells, and it's not a great exchange, blah blah blah, whatever. But you can do it at least. I bet it's something like, thinking back, they already do have a house ranking thing because you can every week the Home Academy, whatever. Is it the Happy Home Academy?
I think so. I think it's something along those lines.
So I'm gonna look it up. Happy Home Academy. Yep. So that's what it is. That's what gives you the score. And so it's probably just based off that, I guess. Yep. Like things being in, like synergized well together or something along those lines. Interesting. So, but yeah, the fact that you can like top down decorate their outsides as well with like moving things around, like that's something that they haven't said, and it doesn't seem like they're going to add to your own island as well, being able to do that, but looks like way easier to do that than like pushing things around.
Well, they did say if you like the better you do in that, you can do that to your, like you can redesign your villagers' homes too.
So you can do their homes, but can you do like the designing mode outdoors?
Oh, like that, I guess so. I would think so.
That'd be cool. I hope so, because they
said like that you can design them in the same way as the rest of the DLC. So like it would be weird if they're like, you could just change the furniture and that's it. Like that would be kind of weird.
Yeah. Because that's such a thing. Like moving stuff around on your islands becomes such a pain, especially when it's like, okay, you got to pull it this much and then push it this much and then that kind of thing. Like, I just remembered one of the other things they announced was being able to like squeeze between things.
Yeah,
that was one that Ashley was also very excited about, that because she would design her living room and then have like a table and couch right there and be like, wow, that looks great. And I'd be like, it looks great.
It's not
But
functional.
it's not gonna work. Yeah. And she was always so frustrated about that. And so now you can do it, which is so good. You just squeeze in there. So yeah, you design their homes, decorate the yard, make remodeling and roommate recommendations.
Yo, you could freaking make hospitals and schools and
That's
restaurants. That's
I'm a big fan of that.
yeah,
I fully agree.
Is very dope.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly that. Yeah, that's what this feels very, along the lines of the kinds of things we've been talking about that would be cool in here, where it's whole different islands restarting
from doing it.
Very true. Yeah. It just, man, I don't know. Everybody knows what things they talked about here, because
it's literally like, and I'm not seeing a whole lot of people that are like mad about this specifically. But like, true. It's literally another game, like this was Happy Home Designer and that was another $40. So for them to be like, here it is, $25.
Yep. And pretty good. And at that, it's a full nother game that feeds back into the main game.
Yep.
Perfectly. Like the fact that you can get to work with, this is where also, like, I haven't seen anybody go through and like look at, the new furniture things that they showed in here. So maybe there are new furniture items that they showed when they were building this stuff. There were some for sure, because they've mentioned a couple of new things in the shops. But I guess maybe also whatever things you use, you're more likely maybe to even like get in the store to be able to buy. But like it's just a fun way to be able to feed things back into your island in a good way, because like, again, people were running out of new things to put in their island. And some of that also it's kind of not a catch-22, but it's self-fulfilling, where if you're the kind of person that uses Nookazon or something like that, then of course you're going to run out of things sooner than later, because you're not waiting for the game to give it to you.
Not designed for that. It's not designed for you to break it.
Right. I mean, at that point, it's like playing, it's kind of a pay to win game kind of a thing, where you're like, this game's not fun. It's like, because you kind of skip to the ends.
Yeah. Yep.
By just paying your way up there. So who cares? Do whatever you want. But like, I feel like Nookazon is something that's good
for you want and then complain because the game doesn't work with how you broke the game. Like
very true. Yeah. Right. So like, if there was like one or two things that I was like, man, I specifically want this, but I cannot find this anywhere, then sure, like maybe I'd go on Nookazon and get it. Other than, is that real money?
I don't know.
Or is it?
I never used it.
I feel like it's not, and I feel like you use bells and stuff, but I'm gonna look it up. No, okay, it's bells. Yeah, so that's good. I would absolutely never use real money to buy an item.
Nope.
But yeah, it looks like it's just people put stuff up and probably a lot of this stuff is, people like hack in to get lots of copies of things and whatever. I don't know. Or no, maybe not. Maybe they just buy it from their own stores and then sell it, because they've, once you've got it, you can pretty easily buy a second one. So yeah, that's we didn't go into a ton of the specific details of this. Oh, and also new amiibo cards.
Yep. And you can use amiibos to like invite amiibos to the different places and stuff.
It's true. Yeah, I know that was Xeon had a pretty strong theory about that. He made a video talking about, like, I think that Series 5 amiibo cards are going to be like a key to what's happening. And like, I don't know that it was the central thing, but it was there for sure.
Definitely anything.
Yeah, 100%. So I was like, good job, Xeon. Look at that prediction. You did it.
Look at it.
So before we move on to the next bit, like, what are our closing thoughts?
It's pretty cool. I'm down. I'll stream it.
Yep.
Those are my thoughts.
That's a good thoughts. Yeah, I think it's cool. I'm, again, very excited. Specifically, like, I think Ashley could very well put in even more time into Happy Home Paradise than she did even in the base game, because like that's just doubling down on the things that she likes to do. I guess I don't know how it's gonna hinder it or help it that you have access to all of the furniture kind of things, I think. And I could be wrong about
Well,
that.
I don't think so. I think that
Oh,
it
do you
said
know?
that you do unlock more furniture,
Oh,
because it
okay,
does say
perfect.
that like you use the furniture that you unlock to help like the islanders that
Yeah,
you already have when you bring them the chocolates and stuff like that. So it does sound like the further you
nice.
go in, the more you unlock and the better you
Okay, that's perfect.
unlock.
Because I was gonna say, otherwise, it feels kind of like Minecraft creative mode, where
Yeah.
once there's no restrictions, it almost feels like cheapened a little bit, um, to, at least to me,
Yeah.
to some people. But yeah, no, that's okay.
Because that's like another part of it too, where it's like people eventually are like, all right, I'm tired of my vacation home, and then you're like, oh, okay, I got something new for you though.
Yeah.
So then you like renovate their house with new stuff that you got.
Yep, that's cool. Yeah, I think it looks. Yeah, I think it's going to be really good. I'll spend some time in it for sure. I don't know, totally how much. It could easily just straight up suck me back in, but I know that it's going to be on our house.
I think I'll probably put like another 20 hours in at least.
Yeah.
Probably.
We did decide we're going to preemptively make a house for Ezra
Nice.
on our island. So that's going to be a nice time, and decorate it for her and stuff. For anybody who's new, she's 5 months old, so she's not going to be able to do a whole lot more of it herself. But
true, but by the time she is, it'll be sick. It'll be a sick house. There's going to be at least one more paid DLC probably.
Okay, so that's true. They did say this is the last major free update. Yep. But yeah, could be more.
That immediately was like, all right, so they're going to talk about paid DLC, right?
Yeah,
and they did. I thought that they weren't going to do it yet, but they did.
Yeah, I'm glad they're doing it now. It's I do wonder how long they planned on waiting to, like, if this is when they were originally going to do it, or if they wanted to do it later.
I mean, I'd guess because 2020, they probably wanted to do it like a year in.
Yeah, right.
But then it was like, yeah, we don't have that much time, like,
yeah.
So they did it a little bit after a year,
I mean, and also, I bet they say it's the last major update. They could very well do, it's 2.0 now. They could do 2.1.3 and that kind of stuff,
Yeah. They're definitely going to add more content and stuff like that, but it won't be anything like this.
Right. Yeah. It's reminiscent in some ways of Super Mario Maker and that whole trajectory, but felt less bad than some of that did in a lot of ways. So there it is. And then the last bit that moves into our next topic is the price. It's $25.
Dude, the best part.
The best part of waking up is $25. So I did just see this article as well, and I haven't read it yet, but blah, 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 $25 because also it'll be in NSO expansion pack. But this does talk about what happens to your happy home paradise if you unsubscribe from Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack. And
I think it's obvious. It's accessible if you have the expansion pass, if you don't have the DLC. If you don't have the expansion pass, you won't have the DLC if you didn't buy the DLC.
So it says, I think this is the best way to do it. It says players can still continue to access certain things they have unlocked in Animal Crossing New Horizons Happy Home Paradise on their main island, including adding counters, partition walls, as well as adding ambient lighting and soundscapes, even if their access to the Happy Home Paradise is suspended. However, it will not be possible to visit the archipelago if players lose access to the DLC. And if you want to do that, resubscribe or buy it.
Yep.
Makes sense. So I think that's the best way, because otherwise, I remember when a long time ago when I played RuneScape in like 7th grade or whatever, and for a little while I was like a premium member. It was a whole $5 a month, which ironically that's more expensive than the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack. Well, there you go. But there's like tons of items, like areas you can go to, and items that are exclusive to the paid subscribers or paid users. And if your subscription or whatever lapses, then all those items just become like question marks.
Yeah, it's just gone. Yeah.
Which is just a funny thing. It lapsed and I logged back in at some point in 8th grade or whatever. And it was just a bunch of nothing.
Right.
So I was like, hopefully they don't do that. And they find a good in-between solution, or, choose the good in-between solution. And they did. So
yeah, I was seeing people thinking that because I don't know, somebody tweeted that it was like, oh, you need Switch expansion pack to
Mhm.
access to buy the DLC, and it's like, no, like they like very clearly
Yeah.
said that it was like, or instead of buying the DLC, you can get the
Mhm.
DLC with the expansion pack. So like it wouldn't even make any sense for them to put that or, you know,
Yeah.
they would have just been like, this comes bundled with the Switch Online expansion pack. That's how you get it. But they didn't say that, you know. And it
Yeah.
says it in both of the things. Like the way that people were getting confused was that they were just showing the graphic for Animal Crossing, where it was like,
Right. Yeah.
you need the expansion pack to like access this if you don't have the DLC.
Mhm.
But even in that, even as you read that one isolated graphic, it's pretty obvious that that's only if you don't have the actual DLC.
Yeah.
But you know, people want to be angry, so like they look for every possible way that they could be.
It's true. And speaking of people being angry,
Mhm.
yeah, Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack. We got the pricing. We know what so far is going to be in it at launch on what, November 5th, right?
I think
It's the
that's
same
when this
day.
game comes out. So yeah, I would assume
Yeah.
so.
And the pricing is instead of $20 a year, it's $50 a year. Or for the family membership, instead of $35 a year, it's $80 a year.
Mhm.
Let me say a thing though. I just realized on the individual membership, if you do 1 month, 3 months, 12 months, you save money by doing one or the other of those.
Mhm.
If you just do right now, I mean, I'm sure none of you are. I'm sure everybody's doing the annual one because it's obviously cheaper. But if you do 12 months of a 1 month subscription repeated, it's the same price. It's $2 less
Mhm.
than the expansion pack one. It's $48 a year. And I'm sure there's people.
Trav said October 25th is the release date
Oh,
for online, which would make sense because they did say it was coming this month.
that's true. Yeah. I remember being like, I thought it was coming this month, but it's not, I guess, but
But
it
they're
is.
just saying like this part,
Yeah.
like the whole thing,
Yeah.
as they're marketing it right now anyway.
Indeed.
Which
Thanks,
is
Trev.
another thing that is weird to me. We'll get into it. We'll get into
I,
it and fully
I
even
would go
say.
for it. Yeah. Just say the things.
But I was going to say that it's so weird to me that like the fact that everybody has the same hindsight that we have with Switch Online, and
Mhm.
they're like, well, that's all we're going to get because that's all they're saying it is, and it's like, you know how many times they've like uploaded that
Yep.
Switch Online trailer with new
Mhm.
stuff that they added to the Switch Online service, and
Mhm.
you really think that their banner thing is like you get this console and this random games DLC. Isn't that great? You know, like, but at the same time, and a lot of people are
Yeah.
going to be like, why didn't they just say you get DLC, blah, blah, blah. It's like, because they say that, and then you run wild with your
Yeah.
hopes and dreams of what DLC could be added. And when they don't
Uh-huh.
add the specific one that you want, you get mad about it. So it's easier for them to tell you what is definitely going to happen, so you
Yeah.
can guess what, it's gonna freaking blow your mind. You cannot buy it. If it doesn't have the things that you want, don't buy it. It's
Uh,
crazy, dude.
yeah.
It's insane. It's
No,
this
that's impossible. I can't believe that.
it's
No.
just
No way, man.
magical, like choice that you have as a consumer. It's this magical right to not buy a thing that you don't think is worth the money that they're charging for it. It's insane. I know. It's crazy.
I
I know.
think so. I mean, I said this, yeah, exactly the same kind of thing on Twitter of like that. Yeah, at the beginning, I understood that people were kind of mad about um I mean, I didn't, but I could just like believe that people were mad about like, I don't want to
Mhm.
buy NES games. $20 for their online or whatever is too much, blah, blah. So like
Right.
at the beginning, when we had 20 NES games and the base service with no cloud service, wait, did it have cloud at the beginning? I don't think.
Yes.
Yes, it did. It did. It
I don't
did.
think it might have not been ready at launch or something like that, but I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure that was part of the
I
initial offering.
I think that's right. Yes. So that kind of thing. People were mad about the $20.
No, matter of fact, it was because I remember that it was like free for a little bit and people were able to like see what it was like and
That's right. Yeah. And yeah, Trev said it just didn't support a bunch of games. That's right.
yeah, yep,
Um,
yep.
so I got that. And then at this point, if you're really trying to argue that the current Switch Online isn't worth $20, then it might, if it launched with what it has right now for $20, like if you were stepping into it for the first time, it definitely feels way more worth it for $20.
Yeah.
But it's because they have to keep adding stuff for it to continue to feel as worth it or whatever. You know what I mean? So like, it just that makes sense.
Right.
But again, if we
even
time
then,
travel back to the beginning, this would have been worth it.
yes. And Switch Online, the base form of it, right? I can see the argument. I still don't agree with it. I still think it's insane to be like, oh, that's not worth $20. Because like if you just want to play online games and that's all you care about, you have to have Switch Online. You have to. But you don't need the expansion pass to do any of that. Like you don't need it. The only thing you need it for is if you want to play N64 games, which as somebody, I talk crap about the N64 every episode of this podcast. I guarantee I have said something negative about N64 and like 30, if not more % of the episodes of this podcast in its existence. And even I think that the N64 games alone are worth the bump in price alone. Like, and it's not even close, because just looking up Mario 64 on eBay and you're going to tell me that it's not worth $35 more or whatever. Buy Mario 64 right now. You know, like
I mean, it was, you know, essentially Mario 64 was $20 just a year ago. You know, on in the pack.
People complain about that.
I mean, that's true.
But it's like, it's not even just that. It's not even the fact that these individual games are worth way more than the increased price. You can also play them online. You could play them online, which you can't do anywhere else. And then it's like the other justification is like, oh, I can just emulate it. First of all, most people cannot, even if they know how to do it. Your computer's probably not good enough to do it smoothly. On top of the fact of like the online multiplayer thing, which you would have to mod the game for, which is making it even less likely that you'll be able to play the game smoothly. You know, so it's like, and it's a bad argument, because it's like going to a restaurant and being like, I could just, you know, steal the ingredients for it and
cook it
myself at home. You know, like, like.
So I mean, that's the thing. It's like, it's right now, I think, like you said, the reason they're not saying any future things are because like it's kind of like the Smash DLC pack or whatever, the fighter pass. If you get the whole thing and then you buy it ahead of time, you're like, I'm just going to want whatever characters are in there. I don't even care who it is, but I'm excited about it. And then all 5 of them come out or whatever, or 6 of them. And you're like, man, I didn't like any of those characters. I wish I hadn't have gotten it. Then it's like, then don't buy it ahead of time. Maybe, you know, so similar kind of thing. I think maybe there's nothing else that comes to it. And then this is, you know, is this worth your $50 or your extra $30? Totally up to you to decide, whatever. But if there's going to be more things added, then I think the risk that they'd run is that you'd be like, well, it's not worth my $50 right now, but then maybe it will be down the road. And then, like you said, like they didn't include the thing that you wanted. So then it feels like it's not worth it because of that. So
nothing about it says that you have to do it now. Because like a lot of people's argument with the Smash thing, to your point, is that it's like, oh, well, what's the point of selling it ahead of time? And the point of it is because people like me, that regardless of if I like the character, I'm going to want the character. I want to understand how the character works, and I want to have it available for people that I play with on my Switch that
or lab against or something.
Yeah, exactly. You know, maybe I do want to try the character, you know, and stuff like that. Like, even if I'm not in love with Sora, I still want to use Sora, you know, like,
So, but at the same time, I can also empathize with somebody. I think we just can't extrapolate our own sense of worth quite so easily into the broader picture of worth.
But that's the thing. There's a difference between what worth is way more objective than people are making it seem like it is. Like, if it's something that's for you, that's different. I'm totally down for that. But the fact that people frame it to try to, the thing is, like, I know, even if it's like a subconscious thing, a lot of it is like, I want people to feel like I do, you know, like when they say like, that's not worth it, who would pay that? And it's like, you wouldn't pay that, but that's different from it being worth the thing, because we don't, I don't want for our, like, for the betterment of our community as gamers, you know, not even Fanatics 4 fans, blah, 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 anything like that, but do not make this about about worth, because we will lose this battle. I guarantee you, we will lose the worth battle. We will lose it because they're like, you know what? It's not worth that. You know how much it's worth? Let's itemize every, every N64 game that's in the video game. You know, how much did we spend on making it?
Years.
How much money did we invest in making it online multiplayer? How much was the licensing fees to use Genesis games and the third-party games that are in that? Same thing for getting Banjo-Kazooie. You know, it's a slippery slope. I'm telling you, we will lose. I guarantee you, we will lose.
Honestly, actually, that's I don't want to. I'm tempted to just make a video out of that, like just doing that activity, and like, it would get it very much.
People would be very angry, but but they're mad because it
could be fun.
That's the thing. They're mad because it's true.
Yeah, it's
that's the thing.
Here's the clickbait title is like, what is the expansion pack actually worth? And then it makes it sound like nothing, not very much. And then you go in and it's breaking it all down, itemized, and it's like, okay, actually,
it's actually $3,000, $490.
Yeah, man. So, and I get people want virtual console and stuff like that too, but it's just not. It's not where we're at. So like we can't use that as the thing anymore.
And the thing is like, it's transactional. This is a transactional relationship. You know what's not worth it for them? Virtual console. Because like it seems like a good deal to us because it's like, yo, you get all the games, you get your pick of the litter, whatever game you want. And if you don't want to buy it, you don't gotta buy it. And then they put the game up there for no reason. Yeah. So the people that's like, the Mega Mans of the world, that's like, all I want is Diddy Kong Racing. They put Diddy Kong Racing up and it sells 500 copies, and they're like, why did we do this? But with Switch Online, it's like everybody like bears those costs, and it makes it much easier to greenlight.
And each of those small things can be the straw that broke the camel's back much more easily than they can be their own standalone thing too, where like, maybe for somebody who wouldn't even pick up Donkey Kong 64 or something like that, they're like, man, but it would be nice to play Donkey Kong 64 and there's all these other games, I guess I'll finally get it, that kind of thing. So, but business wise,
even for the games that you'll buy 17 times, like buying Super Mario World for the 9th time or whatever, you'll play it 3 times and then never again. So like, if anything, like they're doing you a favor. Freaking when you get the initial hype of like, yo, they put freaking I don't know, stun FX on the Nintendo, right? Yeah. That initial hype is all you ever have to pay for. Get 1 month and you never have to do it again, right. But the other way, it's like you're spending the cost of the month subscription, maybe a little less for that one game to play it that one time. And you're happier about that? Okay. All right.
I do think, the Animal Crossing DLC is, to me, feels for sure like, and to lots of other people, it feels like an indicator of things that are to come, that there will, like Tetris 99 on the base NSO and like all these other things, there will probably always be something like that feels like, but I do want that one thing, and that one thing is kind of worth it. You know what I mean? Like, so I think there's a good chance that happens. Also, side note, if nothing else, just go to a Discord, find 10 other people that would, or not 7 other people that want to do the family plan, and it's $10 a year per person.
Like, that's what I said. That's what I said. That was like, I was literally go to any Discord of any of the people that we know. For if the people in our Discord all have it or don't want it, you can go to Bob's Discord or Dan's Discord. Like there's so many other people that have a Switch and they want the thing, but they want to get the family plan and split it with other people. It is so easy. It is so easy. It's not hard. It's not even like going out of your way, because chances are most people on the internet that are crying about this are a part of a community like ours. So they could easily go on a Discord and find more people that also don't want to pay for the thing and bear the load together. Like, it's not hard.
I love Matt Piscatella's tweet that I retweeted, and also Bigfoot Boudreaux put in the Discord questions, who said there's nothing that, and Matt Piscatella is a NPD guy, for anybody who doesn't know.
I retweeted it too with eyeballs.
Yeah. He said there's nothing that correlates with the sales potential of Nintendo products less than the video game enthusiasts of Twitter.
It's true.
And that's that's just how it is. Yeah,
It's true.
like,
Except for
again, you know,
for us.
Mario 3D All Stars and Pokemon and like all these things that are these huge controversies end up just
Yeah, because
selling
like the
well,
way
being
that
fine.
most people on Twitter are tweeting, which rightfully so, they're tweeting from their own viewpoint, and that's it, you know. And it's
Mhm.
it just like it. I would take so much less issue with it if they didn't present their opinions as objective facts,
Right.
you know, where
Yeah.
it's like Nintendo will make so much more money if they did what I wanted them to do, you know.
Yeah, right. It's
And
always like it's too steep. No one's gonna do that. And it's like, no,
no one would do
it is
that
what it
8
is.
million copies later,
Yeah.
you know, like it's like
Yeah.
no, like if like that's why I think that for us that's not necessarily true, because a lot of times when we say something on Twitter, especially for Switch specifically, it happens a lot of the time. I'm just going to say that. And that's because when we think about stuff like this and we put a tweet out like that, we think about what we think, but also what they think. Like, why would Nintendo do this? What is the good in this for them, not just me, you know?
Yep. Man. That's it. Honestly, here's a thought for anybody who's listening to this and it's like, man, I'd love to join a family plan, but don't know who. I'm gonna make a channel in our Discord just called like Nintendo Switch Family Plan.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And somebody's going to have to be the one that's the one paying for it. Oh, by the way, Mega Man also said that it might actually work for him to join your family plan because and then showed some stuff. So look at that.
If that's the case, you know what? I have like 6 slots because I used 2 of them. I used one for me.
Is already still
5,
more worth.
I gotta add my niece. So 5. Gotcha. I have 5 slots. 5 people that don't have Switch Online. Hit me up. But you gotta be in our Discord. If you're like a active member in our Discord, hit me up.
Yeah. Nice.
Mega Man 4 slots. I have 4 slots.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. I'll make a channel in there too. And so like somebody would have to be the one to step up to be the one to pay for it. And then, you know, figure out money stuff within y'all. If some, who cares? You guys even deal with that.
For me, for mine, the slots that are up for me, you don't got to pay me nothing. 4 slots.
There you go. Look at that. Support is only Discord, you know? But I mean,
not even just Discord, period. Yeah, like it doesn't even have to be supporters. Like if you are an active member of the Discord, I will like add you to my family plan.
What a time. So yeah, that's a thing. Here's one question to close this out. Animal Crossing DLC, that'll be part of it. What's one other thing that you'd like to see come to this in the future at some point that would make it, continue to feel worth it or something like that to you?
I think that they're going to use this for like DLC moving forward, to be honest. Like I could see them being like, oh yeah, and the other game that we just released, the freaking Kirby game, that DLC, if you have Switch Online expansion pass, is also free. Like I could really see them doing a game pass thing, but for DLC.
Yeah.
And like there will be exceptions, like Pokemon. He just said Diamond and Pearl. Trev said Diamond and Pearl DLC. Absolutely not, because that's Pokemon Company. But for Nintendo stuff, I could definitely see them doing that.
Side note: what games? I'm trying to think. Like, what games are out that I could envision DLC for?
What do you mean?
I don't know. Well, so like, I don't know. More often than not, it feels like there's some game that's out where like the next direct they could be like, oh, by the way, we're going to do DLC for this thing that
so like
is already out
that we don't know has DLC.
Right.
I mean, Metroid Dread, I could see them doing.
Yeah, maybe that's true. Yeah. I mean, depending on how that structurally works or whatever, but yeah, that could definitely happen.
I could see them doing that, like also like retroactively. Like I could see them being like Octo expansion DLC. You can get it if you have the expansion pass.
Yeah, totally. That's or like Breath of the Wild DLC or whatever. That's a super good point. I was thinking a similar kind of thing for sure.
The only thing would have to be like DLC that they could do and take away.
Yes, right.
Like so that just depends on that, I think.
Yeah.
Like that they can take away the DLC and it feels worth it to them. Like, so for the Octo expansion DLC, if you beat the Octo expansion DLC, you unlock stuff, but it's nothing more valuable than like what you get in Animal Crossing.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So it's just like, oh, you don't have the content anymore, but you got you can use Octolings now, like.
I mean, yeah, that is the question of would they take it away, because the Animal Crossing stuff, it doesn't look
Yeah, I
like
don't
they're
think that they would take
planning
the
to take it away.
away. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Oh, okay, yeah, right.
it would have to be DLC that doesn't give you something long term that feels like
yeah,
a
right.
huge value thing for them, which I don't think they usually do DLC like that anyway, to be honest.
Right. I mean, that's a good point. Like, it's an additional mode. Okay. Yeah. Additional mode kinds of stuff. Because like Breath of the Wild DLC
like
actually
you
wouldn't work
be
that
able to
well,
like access
because
the like campaign anymore after you're not
Right.
paying, but you would still get
Yeah.
the content that you unlock for beating.
yes,
the
exactly.
campaign.
Yeah. And there's not, a ton of games that have that variety of DLC, but honestly, I would love to see more games have that variety of DLC where it's like new modes, or a side thing that factors in, because like most things are more like Breath of the Wild's DLC. Yeah, where it's like just new stuff in this world, and there are modes in there for sure, but like you can't take those shrines away. That's not really a thing, and it's like one-time experiences. So something that's like a recurring thing, like the Animal Crossing one, would be cool. So yeah. I think it's going to be cool. What I'm curious about is if they do more things like Tetris 99 or Pac-Man 99 or whatever, do those become exclusive to Nintendo Switch Online as a whole, or do they start tailoring those towards the expansion pack instead? I don't know. We'll see. Won't really matter to me because they'll have the expansion pack. So
that's a fact.
Yeah. I've already got, I think mine's basically full at this point, because I've got me, Ashley, her sister, Chris and Stephanie, and I think one or two more people. So yeah, but if I've got an extra slot, I'll throw it up there too. Nice.
There it is.
All righty, good stuff. What a conversation. Moving along. OLED and Dread are selling pretty well. This is just a quick update on those.
I saw OLED Japan sales, but I didn't see.
Yeah, that's all that I've seen so far, I think, is that's all this one at least is. Okay, but I have seen somewhere say that it was like a Matt Piscatella kind of person, who was saying that like, yeah, it's it's selling all of its units, but it's definitely having a hard time producing units.
Yeah,
like shortages are a thing, and so that's so hopefully they'll be able to just keep making more and stuff, but also kind of who cares? It's the new Switch. So like Switch in general.
Yeah, exactly. So like, for them, I mean, it sucks because it's like if we could make more, we could sell more. But like, that's not the worst problem in the world. It's like we can't make enough. We keep selling everything we make. Like it's like, oh, boo-hoo, shut up. Like, like imagine in Japan, like Xbox in Japan's like, man, we just can't figure out how to make. I mean, we can't like sell our consoles, and Nintendo's like, yeah, but guys, I can't make enough of my consoles, and they're like, get out, like leave.
Yeah, there it is.
That is the first worldest of problems.
For Nintendo, yeah, for sure.
God, I am making too much money.
Oh man, I was gonna make a reference to a show, but then it would kind of spoil that show. So I'm not gonna do that. What is that time? Sorry, everybody. Rip. Oh, side note, it's not this show. Otherwise, whatever. We're watching Ted Lasso now, finally, and it's good. That's all. It's very good. Nice. We also just finished Squid Games
on Apple TV ever.
Yeah.
I have, but I have never watched anything on it. But I only have it because I bought a phone.
Yeah, and just gives it to you for free. I also watched Mythic Quest back in the day. Like a couple months ago. Mythic Quest, honestly, first episode didn't really sell me on it, and then kept watching it, and it was good. I quite liked it, and it was fun, kind of, because video gamey sorts of stuff. So. But yeah, all that said, whatever. Switch OLED and Dread doing all right. Yeah, I mean, I'll still be pretty curious to see how Dread ends up selling by the end of the year. But so far, for a Metroid game, it's doing great. Also, in Japan, launch weekend, it sold 87,000 physical copies, which doesn't include digital sales. And I think the vouchers are still a thing. Somebody pointed out too that like probably this one has a bunch of digital sales.
Just not, I think they're just not a thing in the US or at least North America. Like,
right. Yeah, Mega Man. Do you?
Mega Man
Okay.
definitely has vouchers. Yeah, I know
Man.
that for a fact that there's still vouchers in New Zealand.
Yeah.
I mean,
All
in
right. Well.
Narnia.
Yeah, Aslan's a big fan of him. You know, it just brings him in.
True, yo. He's Lion Jesus. You gonna tell Lion Jesus he can't get a voucher anymore? Crazy.
Trev said voucher for what? So yeah, for anybody who doesn't know, there was a little while in the US and apparently still everywhere else you can, where they would sell, you could buy a voucher for like $100 that you could pick up 2 games with that one voucher, which is, you know, $20 cheaper than $120 for those 2 games. But then some of the games are $60 games, but some of them are just $50 games anyway. So it's like pretty much all Nintendo published stuff, but you could get Dread and Breath of the Wild with it, in which case you're saving $10. And then at that point, you know, you can just get a bunch of these vouchers and over time you're saving a bunch of money. But for whatever reason, they just got rid of them in the States. They said it was going to be a trial program, and they kept doing it. Probably they were selling too many of them in the US.
Yeah. Bri said, why did US remove them? Probably money, you know, either way, like in either direction, honestly, because of that, like the way that it breaks down, where it's like you could be giving them more money for what you get or less, you know, so like I could see it go either way. Like they're like, we're losing too much money in theory, you know, or it's like, we're ripping people off and we don't mean to, you know, like I could see it go in either direction.
Yeah. Right. I said probably because US is large in market. Yeah. There it is. Yeah. So, but somebody pointed out, you know, probably this is the kind of game that a lot of people would use their vouchers on other places because digital sales are probably higher for this than it might be for something else because it's, you know, more expensive compared to a cheaper game or something like that. I don't know if there's any merit specifically to that logic, but checks out a little bit.
I mean, if I had access to vouchers, I would buy literally all of them.
For sure.
Vouchers.
Yes, exactly. But yeah.
But again, vouchers are, I mean, less so now, but vouchers were always a risk for me because I'd freaking buy a voucher and literally never have to use it. It's like, what would I have this voucher for? And then they expired. Like that was the worst thing, that they expired, because I would just buy them and then keep them. But I didn't want to do that because they expired.
Yep, man. So there you go. Hopefully those will just keep selling well. But regardless, Dread's a fun game. So you know what? What a time. Gen 4 remakes. We found out we got some previews this week, and I'm just curious how much you care or not care. And I have a good idea about, you know, some of the news that came out about this.
About the Arceus, at least.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Well, kind of. It's just about the Monster Hunter stuff, which wasn't really in the trailers. It was just clarification that they made after the Arceus trailer.
Wait.
For the new trailer that came out for Arceus, alongside the new trailer that came out for Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl.
Oh, I don't know if I saw. Was that the one with Scyther's evolution?
Yes.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, with Rock Dude.
Yeah, with Cleaver.
Man, yeah, Cleaver kind of weird. Scissor, just one of the best Pokemon that exists.
That's crazy. How
it's so cool.
About Cleaver. But
Cleaver, I'm gonna have to get used to that. Cleaver, I'm gonna look him up.
He's
again.
like old man Scyther. Like Scizor is like edgy teen Scyther.
Yeah.
Cleaver is the other direction.
I think it's just the arms that are getting me. They feel a little forced. Whereas
Mega Man
like,
said he's all right.
axes.
Bob doesn't say that. Bob says he's good. It's good. That's what Bob says.
I think Cleaver to me I think the arms feel a little bit forced in looking like axes or whatever, as opposed to Scyther and Scizor that are kind of like feel a little more organic, but I'm sure I'll be down with it soon enough.
Imagine calling Scizor organic. Me.
But yeah, the main 2 things that came out of this that I'm curious your thoughts on is experience share and one-time use TMs.
Dumb. The experience share, I don't care. Literally, like it's another one of those things that's like people mistake for difficulty. It's not difficulty, it's tedium. And if you want to make your life more tedious, turn it off. You know?
Especially with like raising a Magikarp or something like that. Switch leveling or whatever it's called is like, having to do that is just annoying, and that's all it is.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, one-time use TMs not being added.
That's dumb. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
stupid.
I mean, I get it.
TM,
Yeah,
no,
not that I
stupid.
specifically
That's
get
dumb.
it. More
I don't
just
get
like
it.
it's, they just wanted to leave it how. Is it that it feels like it wouldn't break the game? There's nothing to break. You know what I mean? With that kind of thing.
Yeah, no, it's just dumb. It's just
Mm-hmm.
dumb.
I mean, I'm not like overly mad about it, but it would have been better.
I'm angry. You know what? I'm Switch Online expansion pass levels of angry. No, I'm not. I don't care, but it is dumb.
Yep. There it is. Everybody should be furious. And if you're not, then you're wrong.
Everybody should be just angry. Everybody should be like, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are not worth the money because you get single use TMs.
That's the reason, And if you feel differently, you're just gotta be wrong, I suppose. But yeah, there's that. It is what it is. And that is the end of the news. I do declare.
True.
So there it is. We
don't have videos because we don't make this anymore. No, I'm joking. But because videos take a long to edit, and also timing would have been bad. Like I could have finished the videos. Well, your video's done. Could have finished my videos edit today, but there was no point because it's the Animal Crossing thing, and it's not about Animal Crossing. So I don't want to like send the video out to die. But tomorrow though is when the video will go up. So if you're listening, if you're listening to this, we're talking about posting it today. So there's a chance that you already listened to it yesterday. But if you're listening to it on Saturday, like normal, you have even more content on youtube.com/fanatixfour.
Go check it out.
Watch videos.
It's true.
Go watch them.
Take a man. Mega Man said it is Saturday already, all caps. I love that joke never gets old because it's like my sister's a vegetarian and I never get over suggesting that she should eat meat in some context, being like, oh, here's a hamburger. You want it? And it's not funny. It just really isn't. But I love doing it and it's funny to me. So it checks out. So I enjoy that Mega Man's always leaning into the wrong day thing because I always think it's funny. So
yeah. It's not Saturday. It's not Saturday. See, that's why I need to send him the Saturdays Are for Dad more because then he'll know when it's truly Saturday.
There it is. All right. Now moving into Q&A, the one and only. Here we go. I posted a question on YouTube community. I'm just making sure there's no last minute ones somewhere. All right, cool. About whether people will play. Also, you're a little bit blurry, I think, because your microphone, it's focusing on your microphone. Yeah, there you go. Look at that non-blurry man. I asked if people were going to play Animal Crossing again with now the new, updates have been announced. 48% said, yep, I'll play it again. 18% said, nope, I've dropped off it for good. 25% said never played in the first place. And 10% said, oh, I've never left.
Honestly, that's another thing that's weird about this. I mean, it's not weird because we already established that like the people that are mad about this are like they put zero like consideration into like the actual numbers behind this. People are like, I can't believe they would like put so much of the like the paywall for this behind like on the back of Animal Crossing. And it's like, yeah, just a game that like more than a third of the people that own Switches also own and bought it within the last 365 days. That game, like that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
like are you that unaware of how economics work?
Yeah. And also, I mean, if they are planning on doing the thing that we're saying where they're going to have more things, be on this service, then in their mind, when they're making the price, no Animal Crossing, is Animal Crossing a free thing on top of N64 and Genesis? Yes and no. But honestly, it's not specifically Animal Crossing that's taking up that dollar space. It's question mark promotional thing that's taking up a dollar space that to them is worth something 100%. And so
and they're not quantifying it in the same way that we are. They're definitely quantifying it, but for them, I guarantee most of the reason why this costs as much as it does is because of Genesis. Like honestly, it's because of Genesis. Like like Banjo-Kazooie probably alone, but to be able to justify it to us and be like, the way that you quantify money is by market value and how much something costs on the store shelf. This
Yep.
quantifiably is worth more money than we're charging for it. So therefore, you know, like they're thinking, all right, we gave freaking Sega $200 million to use the rights to their games for the next year or whatever, right? We gave Microsoft $5 million to use Banjo-Kazooie and then whatever other games that they had the rights to. How do we recoup that? You know?
Yeah, exactly. So it's all that stuff. It'll be interesting to see it going forward. If by this time next year nothing else has been added, it's just those 3 things in that service, then you know, I still feel like more things would be added, but I'd be happy to eat my words at that point.
I mean, the games
like,
definitely like the games alone that we already know will also make it worth more money, like quantifiably. But I think that we'll also see more DLC like things there too.
It's true. Yep. Are you going to play any of the games, do you think, on the N64?
Definitely. Especially because it's multiplayer.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
that's the whole reason why I would. Yeah. Because they're multiplayer. I'm not going to play an N64 game by myself because the only thing I can focus on is like, man, this game aged like garbage. But like when you're playing it with other people, it's fun. Like that's part of the fun. It's like, man, this game aged like garbage. And that's hilarious because you died for it. Like,
yeah. Actually, I can't remember what all games. See full list.
It's like
because so Mario Kart, Star Fox, Mario Tennis, Ocarina of Time, Super Mario 64, Dr. Mario 64, Yoshi's Story, Sin and Punishment, Win Back. And then does it say the ones that are coming? It doesn't even specifically say. I mean, like we know the ones that are coming because
it said in the trailer or whatever, or in the direct. I don't think it listed in writing.
I'm curious what all. Because like Ashley and I like playing multiplayer.
Mario Tennis, you're on.
Like Ashley and I like playing. Oh wait, interesting. Okay, no, never mind. It showed here. I'll share my screen real quick. All right, this right here where it shows, you know, pick up and play. Cool, play together online. We were talking about that. Give friends a hand. This I think you could already do in the other thing where in single player games you can like point at stuff or whatever. I thought that was going to be like, I thought it was somehow saying it's going to interact with it, but it's just you just point at.
I didn't
stuff.
even know that was a thing. I didn't even.
Yeah, that's been a thing I think in the other ones as well, in like NES and SNES. Just like if you and I play something online and then we can like trade off, I guess maybe as well. Like you could become player 1, I could be playing player 2, but it's not as exciting as I thought it was. I thought it was going to be like a, you know, Luma situation or a Cappy or whatever all of a sudden, but nope.
That'd be crazy.
But all that said, you know, I also just am curious what all games Ashley and I might want to play together on here and what games like, I don't know, maybe she'd want to play Yoshi's Story or Mario Tennis. Well, she wouldn't want to play Mario Tennis. I'd play Mario Tennis. We'll see. It'll be fun. There it is. All right, getting into the Q&A for real now. YouTube community, that was the poll. Lots of people seem like they're excited about Animal Crossing stuff. So good job. Pika Pika 1 said, I'll check out the new update and DLC, but I don't know if I'll keep playing it. Checks out. Makes sense. 7 said, I've already spent over 1,000 hours in Animal Crossing New Horizon. Good job. I'm impressed. And still check up on my villagers and plants every day. So I'm really happy that there's so much extra stuff coming to keep me there for potentially 1,000 more hours. I'm already sketching out how I'm going to move everything on the island to add a big farm, what my villagers' homes, especially the ones with the starting designs, will look like, and how I'm going to lay out all the facilities on Harv's new place. So super excited.
Nice.
Yeah, that makes me happy. That's fun. Trev again said, how dare Nintendo charge me money for things?
That's a fact.
That's a fact.
That's facts. They should pay me money to play their games.
I thought they did. Did they? They don't. We're not getting paid to say good things about them right now. Is that not the?
I wish, dude. I wish. Did the checks get lost in the mail? That's what people say, man. Where's my check?
Yep.
Where's it at?
There it is. Cool says,
so I can use to buy more PlayStation games.
I don't think there are any PlayStation games. Isn't that the thing?
That's true. That's true.
There's games. But okay, aside, going back to the thing real quick, people are comparing like NSO expansion pack to PlayStation Plus or whatever, getting free games to download, which I totally get. But again, it just goes to show how subjective some of this stuff is on a personal level, where like, I mean, you saw my tweet about it too, of like the games that they give on PlayStation Plus, I personally am just not as likely to care about.
And they're generally, and that's because they're generally like they're scraps, like literally like Nintendo giving you freaking Ocarina of Time that many people will try to be like, it's the best game of all time. If you're an idiot like Trev, how can you in the same sentence be like, this is the best game of all time, and then be like, this isn't worth $35 extra?
Right. Yeah.
Like what? Huh? Like I guarantee you, PlayStation has never given a game for free that can be considered the best game of all time. I guarantee you that.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah. That whole thing. It's crazy.
Stupid.
I mean, and the thing we know, regardless of what we say, the discourse is going to continue this exact same way for years to come.
Yep.
And
it's always it's the same. They have the same freaking opinions all the time.
It'll become a less and less relevant and accurate statement eventually over time. But, for now, I get people saying it for sure, even though at the same time, it's like, really? In some regard. So, yeah. Nevertheless, Google said, do you think people are too worried about Dread selling 3 million? For the sake of the fans, I'm hoping the game does better than Nintendo expected, but to me, it always felt like a guarantee that it'll sell at least like 5 million or something like that.
What do you mean too worried about it selling 3 million?
Like people are worrying too much, like maybe it's not going to make it. I'm guessing this is what it is. Like maybe it's not going to make that 3 million benchmark, and like if it doesn't, then blah blah blah. But like we don't need to be worried about it because it's going to do fine anyway, kind of a thing. Something like that, perhaps?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that like I could see people being worried about that, but more so people that don't understand sales trajectory, like
yeah, right.
Because like there could be some people that's like, oh, it only sold X amount in the first week in Japan, so that means it's not. Like people were saying that about Pikmin or whatever, right? Where it was like, oh, I didn't beat Pikmin 3 on Wii U, that means it's not going to sell. And then it was like there were sales. There was like stock problems with that, and then it ended up outselling like the Wii U everywhere else. Just people not knowing what they're talking about generally.
Yeah. I mean, and I think especially for this one, again, I'll have said this in my video whenever it comes out, but that the Dread is going to be probably the most evergreen Metroid game. I mean, that's not entirely true in that like other games, obviously were very evergreen, but just sold lower or whatever. But like it's going to continue the evergreen status of games that the Switch has on it in the same way that Breath of the Wild did and other games like that, as opposed to like, honestly, as great as Fire Emblem was, it hasn't had as much of a sustained sustained release or whatever. Like pretty much the most people bought it towards the beginning and then kind of
it's also a much more like niche game.
Right. This is like way
Dread
more approachable.
Like
just mechanically.
and like not even necessarily that. I just mean like if we go back to the fact that US is the biggest market for Nintendo. Yeah, this is a much more like Western oriented game than Fire Emblem is. So like I can see a GameStop rep being like, yo, you know what game is sick? Metroid Dread. You should buy that, But they'll be way less likely to do that with Fire Emblem. Like even somebody that likes Fire Emblem would be like, oh, you might like Fire Emblem, but
and even with that, like even if the same rep was as passionate about the two of them, it would be a way easier sell for Dread. If somebody could still be like, oh man, you need to get Fire Emblem, it's so good. And someone would look at it and be like, it's squares. You're walking around on squares. And it's like, I loved Fire Emblem. That was my game of the year, it came out. But like, I could I could see just that. I can see that being a hard sell for people compared to Metroid Dread, where it's just like it looks exciting and fun. You know, you can tell from the offset, you can see the fun when you're looking at it, you know, as opposed to Animal Crossing and Fire Emblem and stuff where you can't always like see the fun just from looking at it. It's like, I don't understand how I'm supposed to be invested in that. And then you are, and then you spend so many hours in it. But Dread, you could just like see it from the get-go. So I think it's just gonna keep selling for a while, especially with the reception that it's already got. So yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Rise Gang said Samus is definitely way more Western oriented as a character. Some people don't like the weebiness of Fire Emblem, and Samus doesn't have that. Yeah, checks out.
Yep.
So yeah, cool. I think you're right. I think it's gonna sell great, but it also, you know, whatever the trajectory of that is, it will be interesting to kind of see that as it happens.
I think the only chance, and I think probably the opposite of this will actually happen. But the only thing that I can see hindering Dread sales is Prime 4. That's literally the only thing, because that then becomes like the Metroid game to get, right?
So I feel like either that or the opposite.
Yeah, but that's what I was just about to say, that because like Dread has been boosting the sales of all other Metroid games.
Yeah.
So I think that the opposite is more likely, but
I feel like it is the kind of game for sure that's like, it's such a franchise that, you know, when you get into one, like there's, especially the way the story works in it, where it's like
Bob said there wasn't one of those. What are you talking about? There's no story in Dread.
That's the one. But like the way that it's just like lore kinds of stuff or whatever, and like makes you intrigued for the other ones, whereas like, I don't know, something else maybe doesn't, you know, if you play the latest Smash, you're not going to care about going back and playing another Smash particularly, other than maybe curiosity.
You gotta fight Taboo or whatever.
Yeah. That's true.
Just don't go back and play Smash 4. It'll make you sick. Matter of fact, don't go back and play Smash. I'd take it back. Take back everything I said.
I'm just gonna go to Brawl just to trip. That's the
literally. The character models are gross in Smash. Disgusting.
In which one?
And like the older ones, period. But Brawl, they're gross. They're disgusting in Brawl. They're the worst ones, because every other like Smash game you can look at it and be like, this was, you know, it was of its time. But Brawl's character models look disgusting. Look at Squirtle. Look at the comparison of Squirtle's character model in Brawl and the character model in Ultimate, and you'll immediately know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, the Brawl character models are nasty. Because they were like, that was like the part of the, you know, of gaming where it was like, everything has to look real, and it was on Nintendo Wii. You know, like it's got PT. AJ, you're required to like Brawl. No, because PT sucked in that game. That's even more reason to hate Brawl.
Honestly, it was one of my mains in that game. That was
it was so bad.
What, Toon Link and Pokemon Trainer and Olimar. Those are my three go-tos, mostly because, well, Toon Link just because Toon Link, but specifically Pokemon Trainer and Olimar because my roommates that I'd play with just didn't get their matchups quite as well. So I honestly was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just doing some stuff. And so it worked out for luck reasons better than if I tried for skill more often.
They were so bad because they get tired. There was weaknesses. The only one
toxic.
that was good was Squirtle. He was literally the only good one.
Trev, in retort, I would say I wasn't. We did have a roommate who was toxic and would just spam Thunder with Pikachu or Ness's up smash or whatever. Or sorry, Lucas's up smash, and that's it. I wasn't toxic so much as chaotic of just like, here's me just trying to do some stuff, and so it wasn't particularly effective. And you know, probably to some degree in 4-player stuff, it would start out pretty toxic, where it was just like, I'd kind of, oh man, okay, I'm coming back to a thing in a second that's Smash related.
It's all unraveling. He's like, I was really toxic.
So I in this, like, I would do more like area of effect kinds of things and try to like get in the scuffle and, you know, knock people out or whatever, but not anytime it got down to one-on-one, I didn't do super well. So yes, kind of toxic in that regard, especially now that I realize So last week when we hung out with Mitch and Nate to play Dread, we also his daughters were there. They're 10 and 14, and we played some Smash and some Ultimate Chicken Horse and stuff. And because there was 5-player Smash, I was using the one Joy-Con on its side, and it didn't even have like the rubber thing on the Joy-Con had come off. So it was just like a plastic circle. It was terrible. Like playing with that was the worst. So I did not do particularly well, but it was like, who cares? We're just having fun. And for some reason, his 14-year-old daughter was like staying alive. She still had like 3 out of 5 stocks where most people were down to like 1 or 2 or something. And I was like, that's weird. And then, we died and she won or something. I was like, what's going on there? And then the next round we played and I forgot about it. And then midway through, I was like, Aubrey, are you just avoiding everyone? And she was like, totally. And I was like, yeah, you're going to die. And so like that was towards the end of that one match, I guess. And so she still had 4 lives because she was completely avoiding everybody. And everybody else was just like, fighting whoever's around, having fun.
Yep.
And so we were like, well, we'd probably better go. And we were about to pack up. And Nate, again, her dad, who was very competitive, was like, nope, we're playing one more. Aubrey, you're dead. And so sure enough, she was like, I'm going to run away. And it didn't work because everybody was going after her, which was fun,
toxic. That's super toxic.
Yeah.
Both extremes are toxic, honestly.
I mean, you're not wrong. All right, continuing on with Q&A. Moogie said, Animal Crossing and New Horizons definitely got boring. The update looks interesting, though, so I may hop back in. NSO is still garbage, and that $20 plus charge for just 20 some old games is egregious IMO. LOL.
Yeah, no, I disagree. But the good thing is you don't gotta pay for it.
It's true.
That's the good thing.
Very true indeed. Man. All right. Continuing on. Twitter. It's well, I didn't even respond to that. Yeah, the update does look good. I disagree that NSO is garbage in the first place, but that's all right. And yeah, we've talked about it enough.
The servers or something, the servers.
That's true. Yeah, they never bring you refills. So like they suck.
This Switch Online is just my least favorite topic because everybody talks about it like they know what they're talking about, and literally none of them do. Because they're like, man, like it's so laggy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, dude, this isn't AOL. Like you paying for NSO just gives you access to online. It doesn't make the online any different. That's the developers. That's how much priority they put on making the Switch version of their game, or in Nintendo's case, how much they care about the online experience for each specific game.
I mean, prime example, we never hear people talking about a bad experience on, maybe I'm just not in these circles, but in Fortnite on Switch, for example. And that's, one of the premier online games or whatever, and definitely requires game.
Fortnite on Switch is just 30 FPS. That would be their complaint there.
Yeah, right, exactly. But like, as far as the online itself,
because usually like what they mean when people say the online infrastructure is bad, they're talking about like it doesn't have voice chat. Fortnite has that, like it's like another thing that's like game by game.
Yeah,
but people only play with so many games. Like most people I hear complain about online are complaining about Smash Brothers specifically.
Yeah.
And it's like, Smash Brothers Online is garbage, but it's Sakurai's fault, not Nintendo Switch Online's fault.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man. All right, questions from Twitter now. True Fernie, hey True Fernie, asked, why are gamers?
Facts.
I'm guessing this is also why is Gamora kind of thing, and I like it. That's all. In all seriousness, do you think adding DLC as part of expansion packs is Nintendo's way of telling us they're going to do this for all future first-party DLCs?
All? Probably not. But they will probably do it again, because like all includes like Pokemon. There's no way. Like I would be shocked if they did it with Pokemon. But
or even like I couldn't see if they did another Fighters Pass, for example. I couldn't see the Fighters Pass being in it because it's, again, I think this DLC is easy to give and then take away and not mess everything up or whatever. But like it would be, giving you all the fighters and then taking them back away would be weird. and probably cause some issues in like replays and stuff like that. Like that's just not worth it.
Well, I mean, yeah, but no.
I mean, but in any case, it just is the kind of thing where like it doesn't feel like it particularly
it wouldn't
fits.
Feel good.
Right. Whereas
like that.
if they did like a new Smash mode for some, whatever, where it's just like, here's, like World of Light or like whatever, but a whole separate thing, then like, there it is, put it on there. And it's something that I mean, like you were saying with Happy Home Paradise, where it's like that would have been a full other game back in the day with Happy Home Designer and stuff, but instead it's just this. So
Switch Online and Mario Maker 2. Yeah, that's another example of a game that is garbage. But like Mario Maker, like you look at the thing that like I don't understand why people can't put 2 and 2 together with stuff like this is like, why can they look at Mario Maker, right, and how that plays, and then look at Mario Kart and see that it's night and day,
right,
but not be like, oh, this is a game by game thing. Like they're immediately like, it's Switch Online. Switch Online is just either bad or it's fine, and that's it. Like it's Switch Online's fault, like
or Splatoon,
like Splatoon ARMS, which has rollback netcode. Another thing that people are like, because before Nick All-Star Brawl came out, they're like, oh, Switch doesn't support it. It's like, yo, literally one of Nintendo games uses that. Like more proof that gamers don't know what they're talking about. They just hear terms and phrases and presentations and think that they're software engineers all of a sudden.
So yeah, I think to True Fernie's question, I think for sure I could see it with some, and I mean AJ, same thing, but it's probably not all. But we'll see. Should be fun. Christy Butte said, after looking on Twitter, I think I'm the only person who isn't mad at the $80 price tag. I pay for the family plan and have all the spots filled with my friends so we can play online together. I have never asked them to help me pay for the 4 years they volunteered to help now. So hang on, it's going to be like $10 per person now for me. So if you have the family plan and you have friends on it, I don't see the big deal with it. Make them split the money or go by yourself. It's more than worth it to me and my friends. Plus, it's only once a year and not a monthly fee. So there you go. And then follows up by saying, what was your favorite thing about the Animal Crossing Direct? I'm super excited about the paid DLC Vacation Islands concept, since I have so many ideas for rooms in the houses, but only one house. Will this make you jump back into Animal Crossing, even if only for a little while?
I'm most hyped about the paid DLC too. I want to mostly it's the facilities thing. Like I want to unlock all the like shops and stuff. I want to decorate the hospital and the house. I mean, in the school and the restaurant and all that stuff. That would be dope. I'll probably mess around and like try to like decorate enough of those houses there so I can redecorate the islanders that I care about to houses. And then we'll see from there like how much I still feel like playing it or whatever. But like I can say that I'm definitely going to play it again, because it's like similar to how I felt right before Animal Crossing, where there was like definitive things that I wanted to do. And once I did those things, I didn't want to play anymore. And that's not the game's fault. That's my fault for not caring enough about the game to like continuously be making new goals. Because that's what the game is supposed to be. Is like you being like, all right, I accomplished that goal. Here's another goal. But
and at this point, it's just, I mean, I feel totally the same way, where like at some point, honestly, I probably could have kept playing longer than I did. Towards the end, I remember saying like, all right, I think this is going to be my last week. And then I'd play a little bit more and play a little bit more, because like I was having fun setting up areas on my island, but it kind of felt like it was diminishing returns by a certain point. So same thing totally, where it was like, I had goals that I could set for myself, but they didn't feel like they were moving towards anything. It felt like they were culminating at some point. Whereas now, that's going to be less and less the case. I mean,
playing Smash Online as Sephiroth and then your subscription lapses rip. That I could see them, like I could actually see that working, because this is the same way as like you, if you ever freaking buy Min or whatever, you're just randomly going to have Min in Elite Smash. It's because I unlocked Min in Elite
That's true.
Smash. So it's like it'll probably be a similar experience to that, where it's like either you see it or you don't. So like they could do it in an elegant way, but it would suck for you if you're like a Sephiroth main and that's like the one character, and then like for whatever reason you can't get the online service anymore. But then again, at that point, it's like just pay $6. Like,
I mean, that that is the kind of thing where like I do wonder if anybody's going to have the situation of getting Switch Online for a while and then being like, you know what, I don't want this anymore, and then pay the extra $25 for the thing in the first place. Like at that point, what's, I don't know, just I guess deal with it when you get to it. Maybe there's some kind of proration they could do, but wouldn't.
It's definitely an easy way for that. I think that this could be, I don't necessarily think this is what they're doing, but it could be a thing that is being like that happens. Is like at first they don't necessarily plan for that, but if they see that the market is telling them that this isn't worth the price, they could easily be like, and we're adding more DLC,
exactly.
That's a very easy thing.
It's kind of like buff everyone instead of nerf everyone. Instead of making it cheaper in the future, just add more things to it.
Money. Yeah, because that's exactly what they're doing. That's what they're doing. And that's what they have done. Yeah. Like,
it's not like they're a company that just doesn't have things that people want to buy. So like if you just attach any of the other things that people would want to buy a thing, stick it on there instead, or as well as, then like, oh, there you go.
Because the thing is, none of the people complaining about this actually don't want the thing. None of them, not one of them. All of them want it, but they don't want enough of the things that are there to want to spend the actual value for all the things that are there.
Yeah. The people that don't want it are like, oh, good thing it's that much, so I wouldn't be tempted to get it anyway.
Not even that. They don't even care about the price, because they're like,
yes, exactly.
Who cares what the price is? Because I wouldn't buy it anyway because I don't want it.
Yeah.
Like I'm not, I didn't sit here and be like, I'm so pissed that Shima got me Tensei 5 at $60 because I'm not buying it anyway. You're not going to get mad about the price of a thing that you would never buy, but they're mad about the price of it because they want it.
Yeah, right. Which again, justifiable, makes sense. I mean, it's definitely more than I thought it was going to be, for sure. But to me, that also tells me either Nintendo and I are very misaligned or something like that, or it's going to be more than I was expecting it to be when it was what I thought it was. You know what I mean? Which already having the Animal Crossing stuff in there makes that case. And especially knowing that, like, not for me personally, not only this is saving tons of money for other friends of mine, because I know for sure.
That's the other part of it too, where it's like in a roundabout way, it's like you can do this on your own Switch if everybody on your family plan is sharing one Switch, where it's like, oh, well, technically you get the DLC for everybody that is on the same Switch because it's installed anyway. So your game's going to access it anyway. Just like if we were on the same Switch, you would have access to the DLC even though you didn't buy it.
That's true.
But in this case, in this scenario, everybody that's on the family plan doesn't have to spend the $25 to get the Animal Crossing DLC as long as that family plan is still there. So like Mega Man, when he gets added to my plan, he doesn't have to pay for the DLC because it's already there. Like that's crazy.
Which is at that point, like, save, if it being $25 a person is legitimately saving at least,
saving you the bump in the price at least.
Exactly. It's saving a bunch of money
because it's, you're spending $10 and then you're getting $25 worth of stuff.
Yeah.
In the thing. So like you're spending less money than you were for the individual plan and getting more value out of it.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest too, I'm definitely going to, come back and play some Animal Crossing, but I probably would have thought twice about whether I specifically wanted the DLC or like, it's perfect for Ashley. There's a mosquito and I'm going to try to, nope, it's going away. See ya. Don't come back. All right. Like it's perfect for Ashley. That's exactly what she needs. For me, it's like, it's exciting and it's fun, but like, I also have other games and I could make a case for not getting it, basically is what I'm saying. Whereas now I don't have to, and that's nice, and then likewise, I know for sure also my sister-in-law who's on my plan is going to get it or would be getting it and now doesn't have to. And also, our friends who both of them, their whole family of 4 is playing Animal Crossing on their same island. And they would at least get one, between all of them, but which I do wonder. Yeah, I guess that's true. You buy it.
Yeah,
it'll buy for the Switch. I guess.
Yeah, it'll be accessible because it's on the Switch.
Yeah. So in this case, it doesn't matter
anyway. Nintendo doesn't do a
but
household thing. It's just 8 slots. Use them as you want. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if it was a household thing, this wouldn't be something that I could see somebody actually seeing as a benefit. Where it's like, oh, well, that's just like having the cartridge or whatever, right? But like, I don't like. I'm in a different country I'm on a different side of the world from Mega Man. And apparently he'll be able to access the same thing as I can just by being, I mean, not even apparently, like if he just freaking had the North American version or just the cartridge, he would be able to access it anyway. But it sounds like that's not even the thing, you know?
Yep.
So.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to have to go kind of soon. So let's rush through some of these. A lot of them are similar kinds of things that we've already talked about, which is great. So that'll be good. Here we go. Pat Green said, just how crazy is it to include Animal Crossing DLC, N64 titles, and Sega games in a single monthly subscription?
That's wild.
Honestly, yeah. It's great.
Thing.
Dark Type said, so much Animal Crossing, all caps. Whether or not you play Animal Crossing New Horizons, what do you wish they still could have added in?
Mini games,
yeah. I mean, there's quality of life things that I don't mind too much, but I would have enjoyed, and I know other people for sure wanted, of like, you know, mass clicking things or what, that kind of stuff. That would have been cool, but like also could be the kind of thing that is in there and they haven't shown it maybe. But generally, I mean, yeah, mini games, something like that would have been fun. And otherwise, I think they pretty much accomplished the things I wanted to. Like a second island concept was my main hope, like a soft reboot kind of thing. And you kind of get it just in a couple of different places, you know? So there you go. Kraus said, the current gaming landscape is as hospitable to side-scrolling platformers. I feel like I missed a word in there, but maybe not. Dread will be lucky to sell 2 million. I'll scoop it for 20 used in a few months after the hype has died. Originally, it was going to be a hard pass for me. The clips I've seen exhibit some good movement though, so I'll give it a shot. It looks like it has momentum like Ori and not slow stiffness like Super Metroid and Hollow Knight. Those feel clunky and unsatisfying.
I got bad news for you.
Interesting take.
I got bad news for you. I don't think you're going to scoop it for $20.
Yeah. That's very agree, especially with how well it's being received now and stuff. Like, even if it doesn't sell great, I feel like it would be more likely to do that if it reviewed terribly and sold decently than if it reviewed great and sold decently, you know.
I'd argue if it sold great, there's no way that it was going to be $20 if it sold great. The only possibility that this game drops in price is if it sells like garbage and it reviews average to middling to like bad.
Which it didn't. So
it did neither of those things. So it's going to be $60 for a minute now.
I mean,
you might get $20 off.
Right.
Maybe a year from now, you know.
But I mean, you know, realistically, have you ever found Breath of the Wild used for $20? It's going to be at least within a percentage of that kind of a phenomenon, you know. So but I mean, then again,
even have you
somehow
seen
you do
Link's Awakening for $20?
Right.
Even, you know.
And it's also 2D, you know, top down, but still 2D. So like, but that's it. I will tell you, it's very fun. So like, I think there's an implicit feeling of what something is worth that we've kind of been talking about this whole time, and like that for some reason this feels like it should be worth less than some other things. And within the Metroidvania conversation, I get that because the bar has been set by cheaper games. So, but I think it's, you know, nevertheless, it is what it is. So you kind of just have to decide for you, are you willing to redirect your value conversation based on what just factually is going to be the case for a little while?
Because the thing is, like, people think of value, or not even people, a lot of gamers, I should say, think of value wrong. They think of it wrong because it's much deeper than just it cost them this much to make it. I like it this much, blah, blah. There's so much that goes into value. That's why I can get a freaking Mac for $1,000 more than a PC that has more specs on paper, but it's still worth it, you know, because there's different things that they put into, like, they value different things than the other company, you know, like Nintendo. Apple would value like industrial design more. So they rather make a computer that will run cooler, smaller, and more like visually appealing than making this huge hunk of metal that has better specs, you know?
Yeah, right.
Just different amounts of money go into different things. And that's why different things cost different amounts.
It's true.
Because Metroid as a property is worth way more than me. I mean, still, I'd argue, but at least at when it launched, than a Hollow Knight, you know, like Hollow Knight had to be $15-20 because who's Hollow Knight when it first came out, you know? But Metroid, people know what Metroid is. So that in and of itself is worth money.
It's true. Yep. But that's it. Again, hopefully you magically find a cheap used one so that you can play it, and then cool.
Yeah. Or buy it off a friend or something.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I mean, that's do a game sharing thing. Like it's, you got options for sure. If you know, probably options involve other people than yourself, but you've got them. They're there. There's people. Ugly Doke, Barbados said, what other games need as much love as Nintendo is giving to Animal Crossing New Horizons?
That's crazy. That's a crazy flip, you know?
Yeah,
because yesterday, yesterday it was like, man, Nintendo is leaving it out to die, you know. But yeah, all of them give all their games the same amount of love.
Yeah, I mean, Smash, it's getting none, you know, like
literally, this is an actual truth. They can make so much more money if they invested more in their IP. And
yeah, right.
Disney is proof of that. IP is worth so much money.
Yep. I mean, ones that didn't get it, you know, I mean, I think there's the obvious ones like Mario Maker 2 didn't get as much love as, you know, as it could have. And, but then again, honestly, it got a similar trajectory to Animal Crossing New Horizons. It just needed not that trajectory. Yeah. Because this game
also, it didn't have the same like end result, you know, like it got the same amount of support for the same amount of time, but then the last thing that they did wasn't as big, so it wasn't like gonna
exactly
on board for as long.
I think that's exactly what it is. It's in general, that was a game that needed slow rollout more than it needed also one big thing, because this is like, you know, a largely single player game for a lot of people, so you just ending big means that it can re-up people a lot better than Mario Maker 2 that's like community driven and the community just wasn't supported for so long and stuff. So I think a lot of games, honestly, but also some don't, is totally fine. You know, like there's some games where it's a story game. Metroid Dread does not need the same amount of love in the same way that Animal Crossing New Horizons does. If it gets more stuff, legit awesome, but it doesn't need it in terms of like what the game is and represents and all that stuff. So yeah. All right, a couple more questions. I'm going to do them in not the right order because Ozzy57 said, what did you think of Animal Crossing Direct? There it is.
Whole show.
We'll get
it's all there.
And Sober Games said, thoughts on the $50 price point for NSO?
The whole show. It's all there.
Yeah. And then lastly, Dirt Marcos did the thing and asked a question on a day that wasn't when I asked people to ask questions. So good job. You can always do that. Just if you ever have a thought, just drop it in podcast questions. We'll bring it up. And so we'll close on this. If you had to pick a Nintendo outfit for Halloween, what costume would you pick?
Pokemon trainer, the blue one.
Yep. I was Luigi a couple of years ago for our office. Did a bunch of us just as different Mario characters and did like a Mario Kart kind of thing.
I was Charmander when I was like 5.
That's cute. That's fun. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'd be tempted to just go classic like Link or something like that, but maybe just do Luigi again, but do it as Luigi's Mansion, because I think I just did like overalls, green shirt, that kind of thing.
Have, like,
but bring a vacuum cleaner and stuff. Yeah,
like a straight up vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, so that'd be fun.
There it is.
There's a lot of good. So with that, what would you guys let us know in the comments below?
What would your Halloween Nintendo costume be?
I'll remember to read them out next week. So if you drop some comments down there, I'll read them out. And the winner gets a crisp high five through the internet.
You already gave it to them just now.
No, They get it another one, a second one.
Okay.
You can't rewind. Can't watch it again.
Mhm.
Can't do that. You got to watch next week's.
Like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend. If you're on podcast services, rate and review and all that great stuff. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Bye.